Our Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Hermrek 5'10" to Wilson's 6'1". Wilson, the taller man tonight.
To get this introduction started, here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to WinStar World Casino and Resort tonight. Bellator MMA is presented by Miller Lite. From the Global Event Center, we get the action underway now with 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing the blue corner first at 5'10", weighing in 144 pounds even. His professional record stands with 3 victories, 2 defeats from Wichita, Kansas, presenting LJ Hermrek. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 6'1", weighing in 146 pounds even as a professional. He brings 4 wins with 2 losses, fighting out of Orem, Utah, presenting Weston Wilson. And the referee in charge of the action, Jason Herzog.
So Jason Herzog, our referee. Great to be back in Thackerville. LJ Hermrek, Weston Wilson.
Fight, are you ready? Fight!
Here we go. Hermrek in the blue gloves, Weston Wilson in the red gloves. Our fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Hermrek fighting out of Wichita, Kansas. All 3 of his professional wins have come by submission.
Wilson either knows something we don't, Jimmy, or he is the most relaxed fighter.
Confident?
Is that a poker face, a game face? What do you call that?
Man, it is chin high, walking forward, not a care in the world.
It's not your typical cage fight face, I can tell you that. Hermrek with a good straight right there, just missed the chin.
Wilson kind of moving from both stances. Southpaw set up right now. He's in red gloves and red trunks. Good push kick.
You know, they say fight to your advantage. If you're tall, fight tall. Wilson right now fighting very, very tall. Trying to keep that leg forward, but chin very high.
Yeah, Hermrek's getting closer and closer with these punches. One thing the tall guys do, and I'm seeing Wilson do it a little bit, because their chin is just naturally further away, a little bit out of range, sometimes they don't protect it.
Exactly.
I'm not seeing Wilson protect it. He hasn't paid for it yet. I'm just foreshadowing what could be to come.
You only have to pay for it once.
Just missed with that left hand.
Both guys equal with the range.
Yep.
But Wilson moving forward. Taller guy giving up his height advantage by moving forward. See that happen a lot.
Look for the combination. There's that front kick again. That little teep, Jimmy, that kind of keeps your opponent not only at distance, but keeps him honest as well.
Yeah, exactly. Never be on balance that long. It's very hard to clear distance, especially when you need it for the overhand right, which Hermrek does.
Hermrek, second time in the Bellator cage. Weston Wilson, fighting out of Orem, Utah, went to college at BYU. First Bellator fight. And the left hand.
Hermrek doing a good job with the footwork. It's not the prettiest footwork I've ever seen, I will admit it. But he is moving constantly.
He's active with it.
It's making it very hard for Wilson. Every time Hermrek stops, Wilson kicks him in the gut, gets Hermrek back on that bicycle, starts moving again.
Wilson has finished all 4 of his professional victories as well. 3 by knockout and 1 by submission.
Now, early in the career, especially without a lot of finishes, it's about controlling nerves early. You wonder if you can get another finish. We got to be ready for a long fight. Big lights here in Bellator. It's a big part of the fight at this stage in their careers.
Right now, Wilson, the one trying to close the distance.
Once again, bringing himself into range for the rights and the lefts like that. A lot of times, the taller guy, you have your chin high,
nice
stay
combination.
back, and he's not doing that right
Little
now.
body head there.
Yep.
Looks like he woke Wilson up. Hermrek coming back. He's starting to find that range. And again, Jimmy, Wilson is not protecting that chin. That's what we talked about earlier. It's just, and when we talk about it with the fans, all we mean, put your hands up and put your chin down. That's all we're talking about.
Pretty simple. Easy
That's
to
right.
do.
It's a very
First
big
day
basic.
stuff.
It never ceases to surprise me how many professionals, though, miss that first day basic.
Yep.
So hands down, chin up is bad, Chael?
No, that is good. That is 101. But goalie, I'll tell you, it's unfashionable. It's not what the Conor McGregors and the Anderson Silvas and the Floyd Mayweathers are doing.
As had one coach tell me, he goes, you don't have Roy Jones Jr. speed, keep your damn hands up.
There you go.
That's right.
I think Chael just gave us a list of guys that are, on a whole different level as well, with the ability to fight like that.
But it's true, like, if you aren't relying on your fundamentals, what are you relying on? 9 times out of 10, it's speed and awareness. You think you can see the punch coming, but you better be right. And one thing Wilson is doing a lot is he's walking forward with his chin high. That chin high style is designed a lot of times to bait a guy in, to make him overextend so you can counter, but you don't want to walk forward with that kind of style. That's exactly what Wilson's doing.
I mentioned Emmanuel Sanchez was the quote machine when we spoke with him a couple of days ago. One of them was, be brilliant at the basics, which is not his quote. It's been used before once or twice.
But we'll give it to him. Yeah, I won't to let that happen.
Wilson
Final
fires
30
back
seconds.
with a combo.
It's been Hermrich most of the round, Chael, with the counters.
Yeah.
Final 15 seconds.
And he's landed a couple that have stopped Wilson in his tracks. I don't think Wilson has landed that significantly so far.
Round 1 in the books.
Second round, fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Fight!
Round 2. Weston Wilson, the southpaw. Red trunks, red gloves. L.J. Hermrich with the blue gloves. What'd you think about that first round, Jimmy?
I thought I went 10-9 Hermrich. I thought he landed the more significant strikes with that overhand right. That's why I gave it to him 10-9.
So what does Wilson have to do to counter that? Maybe
This is a
grab him
damn
right
good
here.
start. Yep.
That's a good way.
In between rounds, none of the advice his corner gave him was defensive. It was all offensive. They didn't address any of those defensive weaknesses. It was all about moving forward.
This is a body lock.
This is a surprise. This is nothing like the Wilson we just saw moments ago in the first frame. Comes right out, takes the back. Decent body triangle. I'd rather see that left leg on the outside, but he's got it tight now.
Trying to lock it in.
He's got it very tight, guys.
Can't get it here. Looking for the finish.
Wilson needs to push
It is all over. Weston Wilson, victorious in his Bellator debut.
One thing you can do when you're eating right hands, chin down, hands up. We already discussed that. The other thing, flip the script and make this a ground game. That's what he did in round 2.
Take the guys back. Listen, I agreed with you too, Jimmy. I also thought that Hermrich had won that first frame. It was very close, but I did think that he won it. Threw a few more shots, landed a few more shots, moved his feet, but boy, what a difference 60 seconds in the corner of Wilson makes. Totally different fight.
Totally different. And I was just getting ready to ask you, Chael, what should he do to counter? And he did it on cue, and he gets the victory. Take a look at our Blackheart Premium Spiced Rum Replay. The bold 93 proof rum, that's edgy to the core.
One advantage to being taller, having those long legs, it's murder having a guy like that on your back. Look at the tension he puts, flattening out the body, great body triangle, and as soon as this arm is under the chin, mouthpiece is already out. One thing you can't do against your naked is punch your way out. Protect your chin first. Wasn't able to do that, and that is all she wrote.
And the reaction of the newcomer, Weston Wilson. It's the second round submission. To make it official, here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a rear naked choke. Official time, 55 seconds into round number 2. The winner by submission, Weston Wilson.
Weston Wilson, 55 seconds into the second round, earns his 5th professional win, all stoppages, and victorious for the first time in the Bellator cage. Our tale of the tape for our next fight brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
And look at the records here, 5-2 for Tegan Dooley, just 1-0 for DeMarcus Simmons.
With the official introductions, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage we go. 3 5-minute rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing the blue corner first. At 5'11", weighing in 202 pounds even, his professional record, 5 wins, 2 losses, fighting out of Spanaway, Washington, presenting Tegan Dooley. And across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, at 5'11", weighing in, the exact same 202 pounds even. His professional record early on stands at 1-0. He fights out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, introducing DeMarcus Simmons. In charge of the action, your referee, Rob Hines.
So Rob Hines, our referee for this light heavyweight matchup. Tegan Dooley,
All right, gentlemen, here we go.
DeMarcus
First round, you ready?
Simmons.
First round, you ready? Let's go, fight.
We are underway. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Blue gloves for Dooley, red for Simmons, looking to fight off the takedown early.
Looks like a Chael Sonnen fight, man. Immediately going for that double A.
I tell you, this Dooley looks like he'd be a heck of a linebacker somewhere.
Yeah.
Get Simmons down early. Let's see what we can do. Oh, he's trying to pass Jimmy. He's trying to go right to mount.
Already around the legs. Doesn't quite have full mount yet, and they're against the fence, which kind of slows things down. You only move in one direction.
Look at that wrist control by Dooley. Very hard to get out of your Simmons. The guy controls your wrist like that. Simmons goes back to his back. He's got a cage on one side of him that's going to really work against him if he tries to shrimp.
Exactly, and Dooley made the right choice going to side control rather than taking him out against the fence.
Dooley fighting out of the state of Washington, and DeMarcus Simmons, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Simmons on bottom, side control for Dooley.
Doing the cage walk, trying to push off and bump.
He's in perfect position to do it. For our viewers at home, Simmons has put his feet on the fence. He could push off, it would raise his hips and try to knock Dooley over. It almost looked as though when Simmons put his feet there, didn't quite know where he was at.
He did the worst thing, which was a half push that took him a little further off the cage rather than one big one, which might have gotten Dooley off of him.
Gentlemen.
Yeah, it looked like he had an opportunity to explode, but now he is stuck a little bit. Dooley using that shoulder, really pinning him down. Eating up some clock here. Dooley's going to need to use this position a little bit better.
Yep.
No
Got it well, but not using it. Yep.
Looking for some ground and pound, looking for some elbows with the side control.
Knee right is an option with his right knee. He could also slip that across, go into a mount position. I think Dooley maybe surprised himself getting to such a good position because he's not looking to pin the wrist down. He's not looking for Kimuras and key locks.
Nice knees to the body, though.
That was a hard shot.
That's a good one. And that's another thing about the experience difference. Simmons only one pro fight. He's on the bottom right now. You can get frustrated, you can get panicky. He doesn't have a lot of years behind him. Could burn a lot of energy on the bottom.
For Dooley, his 8th professional fight. Both men fighting for the first time here in Bellator. There's the nice.
Good timing on that step over.
And the back.
Chose to move the leg out rather than go for 2 hooks. More of a wrestling ride.
Simmons was with an incredible explosion there, guys. What was it? Where was he doing this the last 2 minutes?
He waited till he was mounted to be, I guess, ready to move more accurately.
Yeah, I guess he didn't mind being in side control, but don't try to mount this guy.
Look at the wrestling ride here. Excellent job. Spiral ride. Takes him right down. Great job getting around the guard as well.
Good transitions by Tegan Dooley. So we're right back where we were before, side control. Under 2 minutes remaining, round number 1.
But we're seeing the kind of rides, the kind of attacks that Dooley's more comfortable with. That was wrestling 101. It was a spiral ride, so that didn't try for the 2 hooks, didn't go for a jiu-jitsu game. Seems comfortable with these more wrestling type positions.
And Simmons doesn't seem to mind being held down here. I think he knows he's not in too much danger. Now he's losing with the judges, he's losing with the 3 of us and everybody watching, but he's not taking much damage. If Dooley was to start attacking those wrists, pinning them down to the mat,
Gentlemen, let's continue.
looking for key locks, looking for some options here,
Then you got to start worrying.
perhaps Simmons would be a little more motivated.
And a little too quick with the step over this time.
Yeah, nice
caught.
job.
Yep.
Look for the mount again, Jimmy. Instead, Simmons able to get him in his closed guard.
Side control to mount can be a very, very tricky move. You got to know exactly when to pull it off, whether you're going to go for it all at once with the knee across. And
Simmons think about an armbar here, Jimmy.
very high with the legs.
Dooley able to punch his way free.
Now thinking triangle, wrist control. Now Uma Plata, good transition. not able to hold it. Tricky move in MMA, the omoplata. Tricky in Jiu-Jitsu.
So the battle on the mat continues here in round number 1. Dooley with the cage control. Trying to get a couple of knees in, as you mentioned earlier, Chad.
Yeah, and that's all this round seen, so I think he's going to be doing enough here, that in the position.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, Simmons got a few tools in the bag if he wants to use them.
He's shown his ability to move when he has to, but what he hasn't shown is his ability to really put it together. He's been good in spurts, little tiny movements, or big movements in a short period of time, but not chaining them together to get back up. Cage IQ, remember, only his second fight.
Final seconds of the round.
Time, gentlemen.
Mercedes with us here in Thackerville. Jimmy, I said earlier, great to be back, but like I've only been here a couple of days.
Right,
so I guess I came back today, maybe.
There you go. That's exactly how you put it.
Back to the arena from your room.
That is correct. And back again after rehearsal. Round 2.
You ready? Round 2, you ready? Go, fight.
Simmons' corner talking about the flying knee if Dooley looks for that shot early again.
That is an all or nothing proposition, my friend.
Simmons going to want to keep this one on the feet here in round number 2. He will utilize a switch stance.
Hands up.
I think Dooley's going to look for more of the same. I think he's looking to change elevation as soon as he sees that range and feels comfortable with it. Look to try to get this back to the floor.
If I was corner, for a little more hands to set it up. Give him something else to think about before that double leg. You know, his opponent's corner said flying knee. They know that double leg's coming. Disguise it with some hands. That'd be my advice.
There you go.
Southpaw stance for Dooley now.
Now one at a time, sir.
Trying to close distance quickly.
Hands very, very low when he's not throwing. Good job timing the double leg.
Set it up with the hands, right to side control again.
Too easy. Too easy. When you're facing a superior wrestler, hey, you're going to give up takedowns sometimes. That's what's going to happen. Make them go to that second, third effort. Make them spend some gas to get you down so that they have to be a little more judicious with it. They got to think about it a little bit. These are too easy.
Did you mean like too easy? Like
Too
white
easy.
man can't jump?
Exactly.
Too easy.
Exactly. It's like you read my mind,
I
man.
did.
Boom.
We're on it tonight.
We're on it. We're on it.
We're on it.
We'll have to fill in Chael.
I haven't seen the movie. I got the reference a little bit. I haven't seen the movie. You know, Simmons has an underhook here with his right arm. If he wants to explode, he's turning the wrong way.
Yeah.
Simmons
Explode and turn in.
That's right. Turn into him.
The
He's in
movie
great
only
position.
came
but he's
out
going
30
the
years
wrong
ago.
way. Well, I remember it a little bit. Woody Harrelson. I want to say Wesley Snipes. I'm trying to
There you
impress
go.
you with my knowledge of Hollywood.
Getting there, buddy. Now, when you
let's
have
start
that
doing the move,
underhook,
gentlemen.
and Dooley's doing the right thing. He's putting weight on that side. He's really leaning to his left to try and trap that arm. That prevents the escape.
So control again from the side, Chael, but he wants to be much more active from this position here in round 2.
It's a really tough spot for the referee.
Now Americana hunting.
Now that's what he should have been doing in the first round.
There it is. Just like that. It is all over.
The first time he really hunts for a submission, he gets it. Like you were saying, we didn't see that wrist control. We didn't see that real hunting. That could have been in round 1 if he'd gone for it.
Pin that down to the mat. It looked to come underneath. I mean, when he finally went for it, he succeeded. One try, one swing, one out of the park.
First submission you learn in the gym, Americana key lock, he got it.
He did indeed. Tegan Dooley victorious. Take a look at it on our Black Card Premium Spice Rum replay. The bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core.
Guys, one thing I really like about this first, he's just checking his range. He comes right underneath the jab, but watch, as soon as he comes to the mat, watch Dooley. He comes all the way to the side. A lot of guys make that mistake. They fall in guard, they're caught in a guillotine. Dooley cleared those knees. Now, Jimmy and I were talking about this all night long. If he can just catch that wrist and pin it to the mat, he can come right to this key lock. First time he went for it, he succeeded, and quite frankly, pretty quickly. Simmons knew he was in trouble there. Signals in his tag team partner, who breaks the action, and here we are.
Congratulations to Spanaway, Washington's Tegan Dooley. Michael C. Williams with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of Americana. Official time 2:12 of round number 2. the winner by submission, Tegan. Killing him softly, Dooley.
Our tale of the tape for this next fight is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Chance Rencounter, 6'2", Justin Patterson, 5'10". We fight like the taller fighter.
With the official introductions, Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA presented by Miller Lite tonight from WinStar World Casino and Resort. Now goes to the welterweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 6'2", weighing in 170.1 pounds. His professional record, 10 wins, just 2 losses. From Pawhuska, Oklahoma, he fights out of Barrio Logan, California. Chance Black Eagle Rencounter. And across the cage, fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 170 pounds even. His professional record, 9 wins with 3 losses by way of Haltom City. He fights out of Fort Worth, Texas. Introducing Justin the Tactician Patterson. And the referee in charge of the action, Kerry Hatley.
So Kerry Hatley, our referee for this welterweight matchup between 2 experienced fighters. Chance Rencountre, Black Eagle, 13th professional fight. Same for the tactician in the red gloves, Justin Patterson. Our fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
This is right at that point in their career, 12 pro fights, where it's, am I going to make a career out of this? Am I going to get to that next level or not? This is a lot of times that number of fights we start making those decisions.
Southpaw versus southpaw. Red gloves for Patterson, blue for Chance Rencountre. Chance works with some of the guys at Alliance MMA. Patterson, All Powers Fitness and Fighting, and the Junkyard Dogs fight team. That seems like a team that you would be a member of.
I like it. I like it already. Bring it back to 1980s for me right there.
There you go. See, that's when White Man Can't Jump came out.
I like how both these guys are moving. I'll tell you that right out of the gate. I mean, we're getting mixed up here. Both of these guys are coming over ranks. Look at that. See, we're throwing punches in numbers here. Not just 1 and 2 fights. As the card escalates, as the talent escalates, and yes, the later you are on the card, the better fighter you are. We're starting to see more skills. Not just a jab followed by a cross followed by a hook followed by a leg kick.
It's when it starts to flow, where you're able to put things together and mix up the different disciplines, be it your takedowns, your hands, your Muay Thai, your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's when you become very dangerous and effective.
And I love seeing what more experienced fighters do in the opening round. Chance putting money in the bank with the leg kicks so far, and it's Patterson looking more like the headhunter, working the body a little bit, but focusing more on the chin.
Third Bellator fight for Chance Rencountre and Justin Patterson, 3 and 2 inside the Bellator cage.
Chance, real speed on that jab. Something you don't see southpaws use that often, but facing another southpaw, it works well.
4 inches taller and the reach advantage for Black Eagle. And he's trying to utilize it here early.
No free shots here for Rencountre. Every time he steps in, a lot of times he's getting the better of the exchanges, but Patterson is hitting it back and making him pay. Patterson's going to need to scoot right here.
Doing a good job keeping at least half guard with that right leg extended all the way. Trying to hold on to that thigh.
If he could kick that left leg down, Jimmy, break through that arm and get a little bit better lock here, could change that position.
But right now he's in a good, Chance is in a good passing position.
Chance has not finished a professional fight by submission yet. 6 by knockout, 4 by decision.
He's going in Darce position, trying to sink his hips down. He might have it.
I think he does have this. He's very deep.
Looking to finish it right here, right now.
Goldie, it's all a question of how much is Rencountre on his own bicep.
It is all over. There is your answer. Chance Rencountre with the submission win, first of his professional career.
The next fighter is going to want Goldie to say, I haven't won with a blank. Whatever that is, he's going to win. That's going to be the Goldie jinx. Fighters are going to be lining up for it.
And that's why when you're a play-by-play announcer in the NHL, you never say shut up.
Bam.
Boom. Let's see the finish on our black card. Premium Spice Rum Replay. The bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core.
And one of the reasons I think he didn't want to pass guard is he was thinking Darce from the outside. We talked about how he could pass quite easily over this leg. What does he choose to do? Go inside with the right arm and look for a Darce opportunity. I think that may have been his thought from the beginning because he was really working the head, really working the arm, and look at the right arm. It goes from around the leg to underneath the arm. That's how you set up a Darce choke, and that's how he was able to win this. Look at that, all the way deep, hips down, no way out of that one. It's tap or nap at that point. Beautiful stuff from Chance. First submission win of his career, and it's a big one here under the lights in Bellator. Great stuff.
3 fights, 3 submission finishes, 3 different submissions. I like it. 11-2 now the professional record for the victor. To make it official, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a Darce choke. Official time, 2 minutes, 58 seconds into round number 1 by submission. The winner, Chance Black Eagle Rencounter.
Our tail of the tape for this next fight at lightweight is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
How do they say it? Someone's O has to go. Steve Cazzola 8-0, Carrington Banks 6-0.
Is everything almost virtually identical there?
Almost. We'll save that.
We'll
save
wait
it, but
for
it's
a
close.
better
It's
one.
close. It's good.
Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bellator MMA presented by Miller Lite from WinStar World Casino and Resort now present a featured matchup here in the lightweight division, set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'9", weighing in 155.3 pounds, his professional record undefeated with 6 wins, no losses. He fights out of Boca Raton, Florida, presenting Carrington Jet Setter Banks. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 155 pounds even. As a professional, he too stands undefeated. He brings 8 wins with no defeats by way of Chicago. He fights out of Huntington Beach, California. Introducing Steve Thunder Beast Cazzola. The referee in charge of the action, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog, our referee.
And they have one opponent in common, Jake Roberts. Carrington Banks started out wrestling and just put the pressure on Roberts from the beginning. But Steve Cazzola, though, in Chicago, short fight, knocked him out in the opening round. A great job by Steve Cazzola. He comes in with a lot of momentum.
Finished Jake Roberts in just 28 seconds in Rosemont, Illinois. Here we go. Our fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Red gloves for Steve Cazzola, blue gloves for Carrington Banks. Training partner Michael Chandler.
One thing about Steve Cazzola, being a finisher is a double-edged sword. He has never gone the distance, which means what? Hasn't put in the rounds, hasn't put in the minutes in the cage. If you're Carrington Banks, you want the takedown, make this a slow fight, test that gas.
Yeah, we got 2 explosive guys here. I would be very surprised if we saw a long fight here. I would be very surprised if we went to the judges' cards. But they are feeling each other out right now. Cazzola looked a little more focused in the ring. Banks looked a little bit more relaxed. As soon as the referee said go, neither of them was quite sure they wanted to. Looks like we got a little bit of space. Almost burned down a minute. I don't think anybody's touched the other one outside of the high five.
A lot of respect.
Combined record 14-0, 5-0 inside the Bellator cage. Steve Cazzola, Chael, has finished all 8 of his victories, 7 by knockout, and he added in a guillotine choke finish.
Well, this is going to be a telling moment right here. Banks is working very hard. He's got his hands locked under the hips. Cazzola comes down. Banks comes right to the wrist, which is very smart. But Cazzola's using that fence. I think he's going to be able to push himself right back up to his feet here.
I've said it before, you want to make a great wrestler go to that second and third effort, make him spend a lot of gas to get you down.
That's right. Make him use that energy. Make him think twice before he fires that next shot. Make him think, is this really worth it?
Carrington Banks began wrestling at age 7. He was a 4-time high school wrestling state champion in Georgia, junior college national champion at Iowa Central CC, and a Division III All-American at Wartburg College. So he's got some credentials.
Yeah, Banks is holding the far ankle of Cazzola right here. People can't see it. That's why Cazzola isn't just jumping up to his feet. He's pinned down. Now's an opportunity for him to come up if he can get the weight off of that knee. Banks pushing him in, knows right where that leverage point is. Controlling the wrist on one side and putting the weight of 2 men on the opposite knee. Cazzola needs to trade that knee for his foot, and now Banks has brought him all the way down.
All 3 of Cazzola's wins in the Bellator cage, Jimmy, have been by knockout. 2 in the first round, 1 in the second, coming in at a total time of 9 minutes and 15 seconds. That's a good average.
And that's the kind of start you want for Carrington Banks, is take the energy out of this guy. You talked about his explosiveness. Let's wear that down a little bit. Make it more of a wrestling, grinding kind of fight.
And grappling they are indeed. Cazzola, black belt with Taekwondo.
Oh, twice, gentlemen. Grabbed it once, reached over the top.
I heard the corner saying, second time, ref. He's right. Look at the physical pressure of Banks in arm triangle position. It's going to be hard to finish from there. Interesting choice. He stepped back over the top rather than take side control.
Banks continues to apply pressure.
In the guillotine position, goes near side cradle instead. That's a wrestler's choice.
Now, Cazzola's got to think twice. If he pops up to his feet here, getting kneed in the head becomes a fair option. Notice he's got one palm flat.
Jason Herzog right there looking at where that knee's landing. That was to the chest, totally legal.
Now Banks pushing in. The key to this is if Banks can reach around Cazzola and get his hands locked, and he does once again, breaks him back to the mat. If Banks could push his hips in and posture his head up, that's where those powerful blows are going to come, that Randy Couture style ground and pound.
Which you know very well.
Thank you for saying that, but not when his head is down. He's going to get that head up, drive those hips in to keep Cazzola on the fence, and then he can start swinging away.
Chael, speaking of Team Quest, Cazzola trains in Temecula with Dan Henderson, one of the greatest of all time, Fernando Gonzalez, Sam Alvey. So he's wrestled a little bit during his training years.
Yeah, he spent some time, at least in this position.
And all those guys, all those names you mentioned, grinders. They're used to going long rounds. They're used to putting a lot into the gym. When you go into that gym against a guy like Fernando Gonzalez, Dan Henderson, it's a long night every night. So, you know, we talk about his ability to finish in the cage, but he's done the rounds in the gym, that's for sure.
Perhaps and arguably the best dirty boxer in MMA history is the natural Randy Couture.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It'd have to come down to him and Dan Henderson. They really invented it, quite frankly. I believe Jens Pulver coined the phrase, but he was coining it watching a Randy Couture fight.
There you go.
Oh, look at that cross-side ankle pick. Beautiful stuff.
Jimmy, is Banks' head in any jeopardy right here?
No, he's not. He's too far to the outside for the guillotine, and he has Cazzola's head with his right arm. No guillotine from there, for sure.
Final 10 seconds of round number 1 between these two unbeaten fighters here inside the WinStar World Casino and Resort.
That was a very dirty and grindy round. A lot of effort by both guys. Oh, right here. Now notice, this is the real key. Banks is reaching around. See how he's got his hands locked? That's a big problem. Right under that shelf. Gets his hands locked, drags his opponent down to the mat. As soon as they hit the mat, oh, little effort there by Cazzola to grab the fence, but Banks still got the takedown, so the referee decided, well, what's the difference here? Banks brings him down, pins him on the fence. That was really the round.
Fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Strike!
Round 2.
This is where the confidence comes in for Carrington Banks. 6 fights, only 2 finishes. Hey, I'm used to 15 minutes. I'm used to long fights. Cazzola's the one that's cut. Maybe that confidence ebbing a little bit. That's what you have to watch for, to me, in this second round. The confidence of Cazzola, because we know Carrington Banks has it.
Banks got on a professional card or a fight card, Jimmy, years ago when he didn't even ask to be a fighter in mixed martial arts. His wrestling buddies actually signed him up, and he said, I'm signed up, I paid the fee, let's do it.
Ah, the early days. changing it up with the overhand right. Cazorla just did not see that coming.
And guys, you know what that does? Banks landed a big leg kick. Now he lands this big straight. What that does is it buys him an opportunity to set that takedown up later in the fight, because now Cazorla's distracted. Jimmy, you were talking in the last fight about a guy punching his way into the clinch to distract his opponent, give him something else to think about. And here we see Banks. Made Cazorla think, pushes him right back to the same position we've already seen him succeed twice in. Big takedown.
Easy dump.
Side control
side
for
control,
Banks.
exactly.
We said it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy
course,
like
I mean,
that.
it's weird how man.
Banks pulling him off the fence. Cazorla looking to walk up that cage and explode, get his hips over. Banks knows about it. He's trying to pull him off. He could use another few inches, could Banks.
No arm in there, no triangle. Forget it. Looks good, but no chance.
Thank goodness for Banks, because
Yeah.
with those long legs, that could have been the end of the night.
Cazorla right near his cornerman, including Tiki. Huntington Beach, you think of Tito and Rampage and Tiki.
Yeah, I got news for you. Everybody went through that at that time.
Tank jabbing.
Man, everybody. Going way back.
Way back.
Chemo gets no love? No love for Chemo? I love
Timo gets some
I
love.
love
Yeah,
Chemo.
Timo gets some love.
If Banks could put Cazorla's elbow on the mat as he's pulling this in, he would have a submission here. But
It's not keeping him flat.
yeah, as long
Yep.
as Cazorla can keep that arm off the mat, makes it pretty difficult to do. Banks lets it go.
But what does it do? It keeps him on the defensive. It keeps Carrington Banks on top, positionally where he wants. A lot of times those easy submissions, Pilot, Kimura, they keep your opponent off balance and worried about you progressing. And then, what do you know? The round's gone. And you've been on bottom the entire time.
Midway point of this fight,
Beautiful mount.
looking for the finish here.
He's got his head under his arm, Jimmy. I don't think he has room. I think that fence is now blocking Banks' offense. Was some opportunity there.
Great transition to the full mount. Very, very fast.
Cazorla's going to look to walk his feet onto the mat, get them both flat, and then bounce off. But Banks knows about it. Banks steering it back, trying to get his head to that fence.
Yeah, you want to put the head on the fence and get the feet away from it. That's really what you want.
Carrington Banks, now that he said he's truly a professional fighter, training in Florida, American top team, said you never want to get comfortable. You always want to continue to evolve. And he's looked great so far in this fight.
Another nice mount. Of course, Cazorla able to hunt that shallow half guard at the moment. But Cazorla, all defense in round two. All defense.
Yeah, that's the thing. Banks can look for submissions all night. He can transition all night, whether he finds them or not. The clock's being eaten up, and Cazorla, his dance partner, is reacting to him. Banks winning each second that goes down. The judges are noting.
And the questions about Cazorla start coming up. Not a guy who's gone the distance. Does he have the gas for a hard round three? Because these first two rounds have taken a lot out of him.
It's interesting you bring that up, Jimmy, because we look for those finishes and we love those statistics and we think, 6 decisions, but that also says something about the fighter, that he can go deep, get in those deep waters and still succeed.
Exactly.
Goldie, see how Cazorla's right arm is cupping the head of Banks?
Yep.
If instead he could swing that inside and get an underhook, turn towards that hip, he could start to look for a stand-up here. Right now, he's actually pulling Banks on top of himself, whether he realizes that or not. When that arm's over the top and you're pulling the guy down, you're keeping yourself down.
And
Close guard.
Yeah, and one thing Carrington Banks hasn't had to do very much is take Cazorla back down to the ground. Once he's had him down, he's been able to keep him. Now, those scrambles we talk about that are so valuable in MMA against a wrestler, Cazorla hasn't been able to get him going.
And he got Cazorla's attention early with the strikes, as you mentioned, Chael.
Jimmy, I'll tie that into our main event tonight. If Caldwell can get Dantas down, he's got to keep him there. That's really the key, in my opinion. He's got to keep him there, not use all of that energy. What Cazorla's doing is excellent defensively. The problem for Cazorla is right now, he needs an offense.
Both rounds dominant for Carrington Banks.
Keep working the finish when you're on the ground here, okay?
Started out well for Carrington Banks and just got better. Overhand right. That was a great one. One thing you know about Cazorla now is he's got a chin, because that was a good one. Then immediately transitioned to the takedown, both hands locked, easy dump and takedown. And throughout that round, fantastic pressure, hunting for submissions, good mount transitions. Wipeout for Carrington Banks.
Banks competed On the Ultimate Fighter show that was American Top Team against the Black Zillions. Black Zillions no longer exist in the same fashion, but some great trainers are still in South
Final
Florida.
round. Fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight!
Now, Cazzola's got the power to stop this fight. He does have the hands, guys. His issue in this contest has been range. When Banks wants to come in, he's coming too hard, too straight, and too fast. Cazzola's got to move left to right. He's got to keep him off. He's got to think about knees. He's got to think about uppercuts.
Third and final round, and Cazzola needs to finish here. Spinning fists.
I would have gone 10-8 in the last round.
I was going to ask you, Jimmy. I was going to ask you that. Yep.
That's a 10-8 round for sure. Now, judges might not see it that way, but it's at least two 10-9s. Oh, look at the timing right under the overhand right.
That time, Cazzola is able to fight it off. Can he do it again here?
If Banks gets his hands locked, the answer is going to be no. But this is what Jimmy was talking about earlier. Cazzola's got to make the wrestler work. And right now, he's got to dig an underhook, does Cazzola, and work his way back to his feet.
When you watch high-level wrestling, Olympics, Pan Americans, NCAA finals, with a few exceptions, there aren't a ton of shots. Why? Because it costs so much. Those guys, their defenses are so good, it takes a lot of energy to finish those takedowns. So that's the lesson you have to take to MMA. Make those wrestlers go to that second, third effort like they would in a high-level wrestling match.
Yeah.
You might give up the takedown, you might do it, but you're taking gas out of the tank every time.
And again, Caloza goes right back. This is good martial arts by Caloza. This is good defense. This is how you protect yourself. He's not getting submitted here. He's not getting pounded too much. The problem is he's also not mounting an offense. And when you're getting to where it looks like the judges are going to weigh a decision, you got to have a good offense. Caloza right now, he's over Banks' head. That pulls Banks down. No, Caloza wants to come up to his feet to get an offense going. Defensively, sure, he's doing a good job.
The decision you make right now is sell out. I might give up my back. I might give up a choke.
Yeah.
Turn and explode. You know what I mean? You're not going to win on the cards anyway. Try and turn and explode to get out. Because the straight on, like you're saying, good guard work and head control is not going to win you the fight.
Steve Cazzola, 8-0. Carrington Banks, 6-0. Thunder Beast, Steve Cazzola's in a lot of trouble with under 3 minutes remaining in this 3-round fight.
You're also putting a wrestler in Carrington Banks in a position he's used to doing since he was a kid. On top, grappling, pressure. He's not going to run out of gas in this position.
And you don't want to try to race him to the dinner table because Carrington Banks is one of 10 children. Wow.
Fighting early, huh?
Fighting
That's what
early.
you're telling you.
Yep.
Beautiful
Youngest. 5 brothers, 4 sisters, and looking for the finish.
Moments ago, Cazzola went for an arm bar. Banks used that to pass, went right into a mount. And right here, Jimmy, to your point, this is where Banks has spent a lot of his life, just hips versus hips. I'm on top of you, and you're staying where I want you.
Riding time, my friend. It's a factor.
Now, Banks has an option here to use some energy, start to look for some strikes, maybe transition to a back. It looks as though he's a little bit comfortable. I'm just going to stay here. Right now, I don't have to beat Cazzola. I just got to beat the clock.
And Cazzola has carried the weight of Carrington Banks this entire fight. Both hooks in.
Finally, both hooks in. I was about to say, if there's been a problem with Carrington Banks' style, his jiu-jitsu, there's been some submission opportunities. He hasn't taken them now. Going arm triangle.
Can he get it?
Oh, this is
Great
the first
position.
time.
Looking for the finish.
Third time Banks has been here in the fight, but the first time he ever passed to the side. This is a big problem right here, guys, for Cazzola. Trying to bring his legs over the top, get himself a little breathing room.
Is he going to tap?
So far, he looks good. What happens is his feet are keeping Carrington Banks from circling appropriately. That's why he's able to get out.
Tough. Cazzola was tough right there. That was an opportunity to quit, and he did not take it.
Good flexibility as well. It's all about keeping your opponent from angling enough to get that clock motion working. That's how the arm triangle works.
1 minute remains in this fight. Inside the guard of Steve Cazzola, more control for Carrington Banks.
Now you're starting to think about the other 155ers looking at this going, man, this kid's no joke.
Well, Banks has only had 6 fights, Jimmy, in almost 5 years as a pro, but you can see he's starting to build some momentum now. As he said, now that I'm going to really do this and try to do it right.
He needs the streak now. This is a tough division, a lot of veterans in it.
Looking to go to 3-0 inside the Bellator cage. Win over C.J. Keith, Jake Roberts, and he hopes in 20 seconds, Steve Cazzola. And once once again, he throws him to the mat.
Standard wrestling stand-up escape, standard wrestling hip cinch, take him back down again.
Dominant performance for Carrington Banks. They go the distance.
That's exactly the kind of performance you want as a young, hungry, up-and-coming, undefeated fighter.
Both guys gassed, not surprisingly. Banks, the Division III All-American, utilized his wrestling throughout this fight. Take a look at our Blackheart Premium Spiced Rum replay. The bold 93 proof rum, that's edgy to the core, takedowns.
And Chael, you keep talking about once he's inside, hands locked, it was over. And every time he got his hands locked, and once he was down, great hip pressure, great ground and pound. Steve Cazzola doing just enough to stay in this fight, but not enough, I think, to win 10 seconds all strung together in this fight. Great performance by Carrington Banks. The rest of the division, you're on notice.
Carrington Banks, born in Peoria, Illinois, moved to Georgia, won 4 state championships there, and now trains in South Florida, and he will remain unbeaten as a professional. Here is Michael C. Williams with our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance inside the Bellator cage, we'll go to your 3 judges. Your first judge, Michael Bell, scores the fight 30-27. While judges Todd Anderson and Don Turnage both see the fight the same, 30-25. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Carrington Jet Setter Banks.
Moving forward, another welterweight fight. And our tale of the tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
That's right, McKillop versus Holden, an 8-year age difference.
Michael C. Williams with the official introductions.
From WinStar World Casino and Resort, Bellator MMA now goes to 3 5-minute rounds at 160 pounds. And introduce the blue corner first at 5'10", weighing in 157.4. His professional record, 5 wins, 2 losses, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, Sean Razorback Holden. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 160 pounds even. His professional record stands at 7-5. He fights out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Shaquille McKillop. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee, for this catchweight fight at 160 pounds.
All right, man, let's work to work for. Ready? Let's go to work.
McKillop, Holden, here we go. Our tale of the tape, pardon me, our fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
I'm always jealous of those fighters whose names make great nicknames. You know, McKillop, you know, the killer, serial killer, anything like that's awesome.
Sure.
You know? Sonnen and Smith just don't ring like this.
There's nothing
no
you can
easy
do there.
nickname. No easy nickname. You know?
I'll tell you, McKillop came right out, almost looked like some nervous energy he's burning here, but he's coming right across, stepped right into range. This is something that the fighters a lot of times will spend about a minute doing. Now McKillop and Holden, they came right out and established their range. They're
Nice
both
right
touching
hand.
each other. Holden uses that overhand to come right into the clinch. It's the position he wanted. Now what's he going to do with it? Got a good underhook looking for an outside trip here. If he can sweep that leg back, McKillop gets it through.
Now that clinch position, as you know very well, it's like a puzzle. I mean, everything has to be in the right place. You have to have the right counter in the right space. Much harder than just a sprawl to stop a double leg.
Yeah, that's right. Holden kind of bullied him down here. Used that underhook, came out one side. McKillop off-balanced himself. Now Holden could advance this position. Bring his right knee through, start to look for a mount, maybe push down the opposing knee to McKillop.
He's content to sit and ground and pound a little bit.
Holden has fought a lot of his fights professionally at welterweight at 170. McKillop more of a lightweight, 25 years old, fighting out of Oklahoma City. The Razorback, Sean Holden, fighting out of Dallas, Texas. So not too far from their home.
If Holden would take his right arm and push it right on the knee, on the left knee of McKillop, he could look to start to pass here. Holden got his head to the mat, got McKillop's arm up. I mean, he could have set up an arm triangle there, but not unless he can pass.
Right now, half-guard's wide open. He has no interest in passing. He seems content once again to sit up. Now look at maybe Darce. He lets him out.
Good jump back to guillotine, Jimmy.
He's got to get his hips into it, though. No hips, no guillotine.
Holden 1-0 inside the Bellator cage. Has one career finish by submission.
Nice wrist control. Out comes the head.
Good knee, and they break.
Hard effort there by McKillop. I give him a lot of credit for that. Now he's coming back.
Both guys swinging so wild.
McKillop, 4 of his 7 professional wins by knockout. He's looking to put some hands on his opponent right here, right now.
Man, let's just say a lot of countering opportunities in this fight. Both guys very wide with their strikes.
Catchweight battle, as I mentioned, 160 pounds. McKillop representing American top team Oklahoma City.
Far side ankle, and there it goes. Not a lot of hip pressure, brings his hip right up. Now able to pull him off the fence, it's where you want him. Easier to flatten him out, he's around the guard.
A little bit closer to Dallas here for Sean Holden, who's back up. And McKillop from Oklahoma City, but meeting close to the middle. Debut inside the Bellator cage for Shakir McKillop.
Going Kimura, hard to do when the head's on the same side, unfortunately.
Oh, Holden took it out for him,
Took
Jimmy.
it out for him,
Took it to the other side. Now, if he can get all the way to his back, he can protect himself. Right now, he's in danger.
Trying to crank it and finish.
Rolling on top, this is where he wants to be, straightening it out.
McKillop needs to settle his weight back just a little bit so he can hold this position. Holden's in big trouble here.
And just pure aggression from McKillop.
Well done.
Finish.
Holden escapes a very dangerous moment.
Both these guys up, going guillotine now. Having trouble stabilizing their advantages. They're going hard for submissions when they're not quite there, positionally speaking. Sign of inexperience on the ground, generally. It's fun to watch, I'll tell you.
They're definitely bringing a good pace here in round 1. Some ground and pound. McKillop on his back, Holden looking to posture up.
I'll tell you, technique-wise, guys, these guys are at a stage in their career, they could use a little refining. Heart and effort, these guys are passing with flying colors.
They get an A+ in that category.
Absolutely.
Final seconds of the round. And a back and forth first round.
Stop.
Chael, give me advice for both guys coming into this second 5 minutes.
Listen,
Right,
it appears that whoever's going to be on top is starting to control this fight. I think they both need to trade. They both need to start measuring their time limit to come underneath the other one. Be the first one to get on top. The problem with getting McKillop down is he doesn't stop there. He finds a way to get to the fence. He finds a way to get to his feet. There, right there is a good leg kick by McKillop. Effort and output is no question for either of these athletes. These guys want to win.
Bellator debut, as I mentioned, for McKillop. Second Bellator fight for Sean Holden. And the kick.
My question is, how is this pace going to last in round 2? Because they spent a ton of gas in the opening 60 seconds.
I'm impressed. I'm really enjoying this fight. I mean, effort-wise, these are the kind of guys that Scott Coker's looking for.
Yeah, they came out that first minute just winging punches. Now you start going, well, it's round 2 now. How much gas do we have left in the tank?
And you can't teach hard. You either have it or you don't.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Goldie, because they deserve credit for that. Yeah, we can pick their technique apart. That's kind of what we do over here. Effort-wise, I'm quite impressed. One question you didn't ask, Goldie, either of us, and I'm glad you did it, is who won that first round? Because I don't know what my opinion's at. Do you have one, Jimmy?
I would give Holden a slight edge. He was in control a bit longer in that fight. But the one thing to keep in mind is McKillop almost had him with that sub, and a lot of judges would be swayed by that.
A definite back and forth first 5 minutes, Chael, as you point out. And I'm not the one who picks on their styles. It's you and Jimmy that do that.
You're right about
I'm the nice guy.
You're the
I would
nice
say
guy.
the
You're
good stuff.
Bad cops, right here.
Yeah, this one, the American Gangster, maybe a little.
It's the worst.
Maybe
Hey,
a little.
I would agree. I would co-sign what Jimmy said, though. I also have Holden, but I wouldn't argue it too much. If the judges said something different, I'd say, okay, we got a real contest here. Now, Holden's looking for this body. He's looking for this outside leg trip. He did get McKillop in the first round with this same technique. If he can get his hands locked here, he's going to drag him back to the mat.
And there we go.
Right now, McKillop either needs to advance position or get wrist control, or McKillop's going to pop up again.
And look at the activity level of McKillop. He was turning and moving in the first round. Now, with Holden on top of him, it's a little bit harder.
And if Holden wants to make these strikes effective, he's got to get his head up. Get it off his opponent's body, off his chest, get his hips up, use that fence, and he can really start raining down. May not be what he wants, Jimmy. He might want to hold this position, just hold it as long as he can. But if he wants to get those strikes in, he's going to have to get some distance. Now he's starting to come under the chin, come under the neck, rather. If he can get under the chin.
Just past the midway point of this fight.
Only one hook in, not flattening McKillop out. He's got to put the hips in and really extend them to get that choke. Now has both hooks in. He can get him flat. He's halfway there.
Holden looking for his second career finish by submission.
Can't see how deep it is now.
Now, Jimmy, the whole key here is he under the chin?
Yep.
McKillop using a lot of energy trying to push back. Another option is to just simply roll. Now he's going to give up mount, but he's going to protect his back. Right now, you're splitting hairs, picking evils. That's why the mount is so effective.
Yep.
But after a back and forth first 5 minutes, an excellent 3.5 minutes thus far for Holden. McKillop gets it back to half guard.
Energy he's expending, holding Holden, fighting off these submission attempts, trying to get some space from that pressure. Costs you a lot of energy.
.60 seconds left in the round, full mount again. Can he posture up? Throw some punches. Posture's up there, Jimmy.
On cue.
On
There
cue.
you go. It's like he can hear you, Goldie.
Can he get the finish here? He's pouring it on.
Holden's got that space right now. His head's up, his hips are heavy.
Being relentless.
Very smart. Came under the arms, flatten it back out.
This should probably be it. Hit is all over. Sean Holden with the second round finish.
He got position, and then he went to pounding. That's exactly the order you want to go in, Jimmy. First, you get position, and then you posture, and then you pound. Exactly what Holden did. That was textbook.
Didn't do what he should have done in the first round to stabilize those positions. Really sit down and take the energy out of his opponent. Much better in the second round, especially with the hooks.
The 3 Ps, position, posture, and pound.
In that order, that's correct.
First TKO finish of Holden's young career. Take a look at our finish. Black Card Premium Rum.
All right, here's what we're talking about. He postured right here, and then he starts to pound. As McKillop starts to turn over for a defense, again, he gets the position, he postures, and he starts to pound. Right here, you're just waiting for the referee. And anytime Kerry Hatley's in there, you are in good hands. He will send you home in one piece, and this one's over.
Our Black Card Premium Spiced Rum Replay, the bold 93 proof rum, that's edgy to the core. To make it official, let's check back in with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the official time, 4 minutes, 39 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, Sean Razorback Holden.
We've got a couple more lightweights set to do battle, and our tale of the tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. Jimmy, everything's virtually identical, by the way.
It is. So 6-1 for Rivera. Moro 8-3, but
Everything else is virtually identical. Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA tonight from WinStar World Casino and Resort Now presents lightweights inside the cage set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner at 5'10", weighing in 154.6. His professional record, 8 wins, 3 losses from Anadarko, Oklahoma, presenting Manny the Dragon Muro. And across the cage is the adversary out of the red corner at 5'9", weighing in 154 pounds even. His professional record near perfect with 6 wins, just 1 loss. He fights out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Introducing Emmanuel El Punisher Rivera. And the referee in charge of the action, Jaron Vallell.
Jaron Vallell, our
great, Jaron,
referee
on my
for
cue.
this final preliminary matchup here on our Bellator app. Great to be here at spike.com.
Fighter, fight!
Here we go. Moro and Rivera, and our fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time. Red gloves for Rivera, blue gloves for Manny Muro. First fight in Bellator for the Dragon Manny Muro, second for Rivera. 6-1 as a pro. Both guys with Oklahoma ties.
Rivera showing a lot of confidence with his hands, really letting them float around his chest, relying on his speed.
Lead body shot there by Rivera.
Rivera, 4 of his 6 wins by knockout. Little switch kick. And again, that's heavy.
Moro much more traditional, hands up. Rivera so far really believing in his boxing.
Both hands low, but effective strike from Emmanuel Rivera.
Old coach once told me, it doesn't matter where your hands come from, where they go back to, that's the killer.
Back to the chin is always a good idea. Good pace so far. These guys might just stand and trade. Big shot.
Left hook.
Rivera.
A lot of confidence, that lead hand, as you mentioned, Chael, to the body, then to the chin. A lot of faith in the hook.
Muro doesn't want any of it.
No, Moro responds, decides he wants to try to make this a grappling contest. Again, he pushes his opponent into the fence. The question is, can he get his hands locked? A single leg is very hard to do in MMA. Guys, look at a single leg position. There's the question. Do you have your opponent's leg, or does your opponent have your hands? That's the question and the problem with a single leg.
Wide stance defensively for Emmanuel Rivera, which is exactly, Chael, what you want to do.
Yeah, make yourself heavy, sit into this position. Anderson Silva, Jose Aldo, they kind of brought this into MMA. You notice how they post their feet, make it very hard for you to lock around them. Great defense by Rivera, got to give that to him.
Nice hook over the top on the way out.
Moreau did everything right and it still didn't work.
Jose Aldo teammate Eduardo Dantas later tonight in our main event of the evening.
They're even, Jimmy. That's one huge shot apiece. Both the red and the blue cornermen are yelling, keep your hands up, and that's good advice.
More of a slip there. Rivera wanting to apply pressure here on the feet again.
Neither guy really snapping the jab. They're both using that lead hand either as a hook or just a setup for the right.
There you go, right there, Jimmy.
Leaping shots, exactly.
But that lead hook can be dangerous.
Just as you said that, Glenn, Rivera hit it right on the temple.
Yep. Wide stance again. Oh, not this time.
Yeah, Moro rocked him with the right hand before going for now a switch position, but hips aren't in the right position to finish that.
Moore could try to jump to mount right now. It's the only way he's going to hold Rivera down. Rivera's out. Rivera's going to reverse this, and he's free.
Nice job done by Emmanuel Rivera. Manny Muro throwing some heavy leather.
Muro is finding a home for that right hand over the top. Because Rivera just lazy with that jab hand, letting it float a little too low and not up with the shoulder either.
Solid kick. Answered. Someone more off the foot from Rivera. And again, looking for the takedown.
Rapid fire elbows there by Rivera. We should give a little notice to those. Those all landed.
And they landed in a good spot, not an illegal spot. On the shoulder more.
Moreau head down and hips up. That's the opposite of where you want to be. He wants to drop that butt a little bit, get elevation with his head if he wants to hold this position or do any kind of damage. That's the battle they're in right now.
And it's trying to pull Rivera off the fence, so you can't use that to pop back to his feet. Using that head as a weapon.
Moreau 8-3, Rivera 6-1. Trains with the men at the Oklahoma Wrestling Academy in Oklahoma City and American Elite MMA.
Some decent wrestlers out of Oklahoma.
Yeah,
you know,
a couple.
You know, a couple good ones.
Yeah, one or two. Johnny Hendricks, not really that bad.
It was all right, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, Randy Couture. Yep. Those, of course,
good shot.
Oklahoma State Cowboys, as you know, Jimmy, and Chael, you know that.
Speaking of single legs, best of all time, John Smith, right here in Oklahoma.
Fight!
That fight continues. I don't know, I travel with a Buckeye. Ask Mike with a Sabato, he'll tell you.
But isn't that a new thing? I haven't seen them called TOSU my whole life. That's a new thing, no?
That's an excellent point. That's a lot of shirts to change.
You know, Chael's from a university where they change the uniform every other week.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. Yeah, it's kind of cool being right up the street from Nike.
They got a budget up there, yeah.
I bet they do. Of course, Mark the Hammer Coleman, godfather of ground and pound, the late Kevin Randleman, national champions out of Ohio State. Both heavyweights.
Morale pressuring this forward. Rivera backing up to the fence, which surprises me. Rivera's biggest problems in this contest have been when he gets his back up against that fence.
I think it was that right hand where ball really hurt him in round one that's making him back off, making him be a little bit more tentative and play the outside. I think that was the difference. Once you hit a guy and really he really gets you respect, it changes the tenor of the contest, and that, I think, is what happened so far. Morrow really stepped in and hurt him with the right hand.
Rivera trying to change some levels here. Kind of looked for a lead uppercut a moment ago. This is, so far, basically a jab-free fight. And there's a jab. Thank you.
But they haven't really used it as its own weapon.
Correct.
It's been a, here's my right hand, I'm gonna throw something in front of it.
I'm gonna throw this one straight, so it's kind of a jab, right?
Yeah. It's been a step up to the right. It hasn't been its own weapon. They've really relied on the lead hook and the right hand.
The slap, not the thud, tells you that the kick still hurts, but not as much.
Good 1-2 by Rivera.
A big swing and a miss by Manny Muro.
Muro responds by coming forward. That looks good to judges. When you get hit, your next movement is to step forward. It makes the judge go, well, maybe that didn't land so hard.
And his kick, Chael, was the thud, not the slap. Heavy kick.
If you're Rivera, you gotta give Muro a reason to back up. That hasn't happened in round two. Nice right again. Same punches before, they cracked him.
Max Rivera right up to that fence.
Nice switch.
Right where Rivera doesn't want to be, in my opinion. Oh, another good shot by Muro.
Turning it up. Our final fight here live on Bellator.com. Don't forget, top of the hour, live and free on Spike.
Another lead body shot. That's
Another
really
leaping
hard to
body
do.
shot, yep. He enjoys it.
Good, solid technique. Rivera's fighting a very good fight, but he is backing up. I think that Moreau's getting the best of him. I would be very curious, Jimmy, if Rivera fought the same contest but started coming in a forward motion, making Moreau back up, or they meet in the middle.
The problem with the lead body shot, it's very inviting for a guy with a good overhand right.
As is the lead hook, leaves you a bit vulnerable.
Rivera just landed an uppercut right on the mark. Oh!
Those are heavy. Hitting the same spot. See some bruising on the lead leg of Emmanuel Rivera. Manny Moreau definitely, the Dragon, definitely the aggressor, Chael, so far in this second round.
Yeah, he's definitely walking him down and marching forward. Now, that's not to say Rivera's not putting up a fight, but he is giving ground. Real estate matters in the judge's eyes.
And Rivera in this second round hasn't really given Moreau a reason to back off, a reason to not walk forward, hasn't been able to stun him with any shots.
And ripping those kicks, Rivera tried to check that one.
Guys, when something works in a fight, the rule is you go back to it with the theory that your opponent cannot make the adjustment on the fly, and we're starting to see that with Moreau and these leg kicks right now.
Which will slow down the pursuit ability and footwork of his opponent, Rivera.
These are Chuck Liddell-style leg kicks, just bad intentions, everything on them. Boom, commit, chop your opponent's leg.
If pursuitability isn't a word, it should be.
Pursuitability.
For his pursuitability.
Is that the fourth P then, Chael?
Yeah, that's right.
Got it.
Posture, punch, pound, pursuitability.
We're making rules here, people.
I knew I was going to learn something tonight from the American Gangster.
Rivera calling him in. I just don't know if I agree with that strategy.
But when we're seeing
go.
Moreau
Seconds up,
land,
please. Seconds
he's
up.
hurting Rivera,
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
sticks,
Let's go.
and that sticks good. We're seeing combinations like this, where they're trading and trading and trading, and Moreau will land that straight right, or land the uppercut, or land an overhand. It'll really back Rivera up. That's the punctuation mark on the round.
And it's been the thud,
Right, guys.
not the slap with those heavy leg kicks. 5 minutes remain. Third and final round. Manny Moreau in the blue gloves. Emmanuel Rivera in the red gloves. Bellator Bantamweight World Championship title fight later tonight in our main event. Two-time champion Eduardo Dantas against the Wolf Darrion Caldwell.
Still a lot of energy in Moreau. Bouncing his step well, but Rivera coming forward a little bit more. I think he has to know. I think he knows he has to plant his feet and take the center a little bit more, per your point, Jill. Doesn't want to back up.
It'd be a real interesting round if Rivera does either stand his ground or come forward. Like that.
Yep. He knows he can't eat a bunch of kicks like he did in the second round. That is for certain.
And here's where all those kicks start catching up with you in that third round. Leg starts feeling like it's stuck in mud.
Manny's looking for it too, Jimmy. Starting to tap that front foot a little bit Muay Thai style.
Yep.
There it is. A little teep right on cue. Whoa, caught him with stuff.
It's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Falls in with a combo, ends it with a head kick.
And he adjusted during the spin, Chael.
Yeah, he did. You can see his footwork. Boom, he whipped around.
Got to lead that with your head. As I mentioned, Eduardo Dantas, a Brazilian. Second time he's been the champion. He's going to look to defend the belt for the second time against Darrion Caldwell, who's been waiting and waiting to be healthy and have his first title fight. First title fight, first 5-round fight. Our main event later tonight. Top of the hour, we are live on Spike.
You've said a lot of times we've called fights together, Chael, there can only be one leader of the dance. In the first 2 rounds, it was Moreau. Now it's kind of a contested dance. There are times when Rivera wants to be the initiator, and he's been the one pushing Moreau back. Can he do it enough to win the round? That's the question.
That is the question. And even if he wins the round, Jimmy, does he win the fight? I feel like he's down by 2.
That's what I have it as well. Both of them 10-9s.
Midway point of the third and final round. They split jabs. Joe Taiminglo Leandro Higo, John Macapa, Teixeira Macapa, Pat Curran, Emmanuel Sanchez, Daniel Strauss. 9 in the East, 8 Central. Cannot wait, 4 great fights. Fight card filled with men who have or have had Bellator belts. Pace slowing down a little bit here, Chael, for Emmanuel Rivera.
Well, it should be. He's had a big output here. Look, both of these guys are really going back and forth. The one thing that I would go back and change if I were Rivera is I just want to give up so much ground. I'd be pushing forward. I like what he's doing right now. Right now he's got Moreau backing up. Moreau's not quite used to this. When Rivera pushed forward, the big question is, were they going to meet in the middle, or is Moreau going to start backing up? The answer is he's starting to back up, which also makes it very difficult for Moreau to land those outside leg kicks, which is why we're not really seeing them in this round.
One of the things you try and teach young fighters, I try and teach young fighters, is, hey, the easiest thing for the judges to see is who's moving forward and who's moving back. They might not always see who's landing cleanly or what strikes are particularly doing the most damage. They can see who's moving forward.
Manny just missed, Jimmy, that switch, and then the spin just missed, and went high with the head kick afterwards. Final minute of the fight.
Moreau still seems to have a bunch of energy.
Both men 30 years old.
Well, good combo there, right through the center with the right hand.
Great follow-up. Starts everything with the jab. Then Moreau comes heavy.
Impressive Bellator debut from Moreau. Another heavy kick. Little teeth to keep him at distance. And gets just out of harm's way with that lead left hook from Rivera. 15 seconds. Oh my goodness. And he came across and cut the angle on that one.
Moreau should not have this much energy left. You can talk about finishing fights all you want. Guys, I'm glad this went the distance. That was fun.
They go to the bell, and it goes the distance.
Tremendously technical fight, boys.
Moreau, the aggressor throughout this fight. Rivera trying to find his countering opportunities, but a lot of times playing the outside, angling, and Moreau having fun with that overhand right through a lot of vicious uppercuts, leg kicks. I liked his variety, but it was his gas, his activity level at the end, and his ability to control the real estate in this fight that, to me, gave him all 3 rounds. We'll have to see if the judges agree.
The decision is in. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. Michael Bell, Don Turnage, David Sutherland, all score the fight exactly the same, 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Manny the Dragon Moreau.
Our tale of the tape for our first fight, live on Spike, is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Look at the reach advantage of Leandro Higo, but Baby Joe Tamenglo used to being the guy at a reach disadvantage.
Let's get things officially started. Here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. Tonight live on Spike, Miller Lite presents Bellator MMA. From WinStar World Casino and Resort, the action begins with 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 135.2 pounds, his professional record, 17 victories, 3 losses. He fights out of Natal and hails from Montessoro, Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil, Leandro Pitbull Higo. And across the cage, his adversary out of the red corner at 5'4", weighing in 135.7 pounds. As a professional, he brings 23 victories, 7 defeats with 1 draw. Fighting out of Chula Vista, California, he hails from Jonia, Guam. Introducing Baby Joe, the Juggernaut Tamenglo. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Rob Hines.
Rob Hines, our referee. for our first fight, live and free on Spike. Leandro Higo and Joe T, the Juggernaut, set to go. Here we go. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Blue gloves for the Brazilian Higo. Guam's Joe Taiminglo is in the red gloves.
Taiminglo looking to clinch right away and does so, pushes him right into the fence. I talked to his trainer, my former teammate, Chris Lieben, earlier today. I said, man, that's a tough fight. And he said, yeah, but for both guys, Taiminglo is prepared and we got a good game plan.
Strong and a pocket kind of fighter. No surprise at all. He wants to get this close.
The Crippler, part of that first crew ever here on Spike for the Ultimate Fighter. They clinch early.
Higo trades positions with the very smart. Taiminglo trades positions back. You always want your opponent's back to the fence. This is the position that Taiminglo wanted. He got exactly what he wanted. And now the question is, what's he going to do with it? Foot stomps. No surprise that's Chris Lieben's protege, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Now you know.
Leandro Higo, very, very big for this weight class. A brutal cut. We're seeing that strength, but this is the kind of position where the frame of Baby Joe, short, stocky, that's where it's an advantage, not a disadvantage.
So when Chris Lieben first foot stomped you in practice, did you say, dude, you're gonna break my foot? Like,
so that's
no.
a jerk move right there, Lieben.
We knew it was gonna be something good.
And I started using them ever since.
There you go.
Can't beat them, join them.
90 seconds in.
Taiminglo doing a real good job keeping his hips in, controlling this position, but he's not doing anything with it. Knees are an option. Getting underneath that underhook's an option. Inside trips, outside trips. Taiminglo wanted this spot, but now he's not quite sure how to get an offense going.
30-second professional fight for the Juggernaut, Joe Taiminglo.
Problem is he just spent a lot of gas and didn't get the takedown.
Leandro Higo missed weight in what would have been a title fight in his Bellator debut. Ended up losing a split decision to the champion, Eduardo Dantas.
Close 3 rounds, though. It's an important thing to keep in mind. That fight was not a blowout.
And it was late notice, lots of travel, big weight cut in Budapest. It'll be interesting to see if we truly see what everybody's telling us, Jimmy, a different Higo tonight.
Well, he's the biggest X factor on tonight's card. With guys that have held belts in a lot of Bellator fights, Higo has only fought once, and as you said, a lot of mitigating circumstances in that fight.
Oh, Taiminglo got him down. Step across judo trip to, oh, but he lets him up. He didn't have the hip pressure. Higo trades position. Now Higo's got the underhooks.
Excellent elevation with the guard from Higo.
They continue to grapple first 3 minutes of this fight. Good knees, there's a foot stomp again. That one from Higo, though. And they break.
The question is, what can Baby Joe do from distance? He's the kind of guy who covers a lot of real estate with his punches. He loves the overhand shot, right and left.
Leandro Higo has been with the Pitbull brothers since day one of his professional career. Patricio. We have 3 Pitbulls now. Leandro, Pitbull, Higo. That's right into it.
Man.
Don't forget, watch full Bellator fights on the Spike app on iOS, Android, Roku, and now available on Apple TV.
And that shot woke Baby Joe up. With a takedown, not where he wanted to be.
Joe's got this butterfly guard. A couple options here. Use those shins as you're seeing at home. Push your opponent up, start to get some distance, and bring yourself back to your feet. He's not doing that, though, Jimmy. He looks a little comfortable there. Higo passes right to the side with an underhook.
Yeah, beautiful job getting a half guard there. Passed from full guard to half guard.
Taiminglo could start looking for an underhook with his left arm, getting his right hip down and pushing himself up, but he's not doing that.
What you have to worry about in MMA, you don't have to worry about in Jiu-Jitsu, is when you push off to get space, you put your opponent in ground and pound position, you give him enough space to land some good shots.
Interesting matchup of fighters too, Jimmy, because Joe Taiminglo, he thought he should have gotten that April fight against Eduardo Dantas. They brought Leandro Higo in late. Now he's got a chance to say, I'm ahead of Higo.
And he didn't make weight. That is key. He did not make weight when he beat Darrion Caldwell. That's why he didn't get the title shot.
did make way both men for this battle. Final 10 seconds of round number 1. Little southpaw for Joe T. Round 2 of our first fight. This is a bantamweight battle. Leandro Higo in the blue gloves, Joe Minglo in the red gloves. What'd you think about the first round, Jimmy?
Well, both guys got takedowns, but the cracking of Higo right on the jaw of Minglo knocked him down. To me, that gives him round 1, 10-9.
Short elbow attempt by Joe Minglo.
Risky move, I respect it. He stepped right in with that short elbow, didn't he?
He trusts in his ability, like I said, to close distance quickly, that physical explosiveness. That's why he feels confident with those kind of moves.
Higo told us that he's never been more on point for a fight than he is for this one, and he feels he's the more versatile fighter in this matchup. Time will tell. Joe T switching that stance back and forth. Big swing and a miss.
But right into the clinch, very, very tight. Caught Higo coming in with that overhand right, and he goes right through it.
They work on the cage.
Mingo's got to be busier here with us. Those foot stomps we talked about, knees to the thighs, knees to the body, takedown attempts. He can't just hold that position. He's getting to good spots and he's stopping.
Higo's new to Bellator, but not new to being a pro fighter. 17-3 record. His loss to Eduardo Dantas, broken 8-fight win streak, was his first loss in nearly 5 years. Patricio, both love this kid. Been with him for a long time.
A lot of confidence moving forward, but not really flicking anything out at Baby Joe. Looks like he's loading up for the big shot rather than throwing combinations. Nice look over the top by Baby Joe.
Mingo having a hard time connecting here, Jim. Even when his hands go out, I feel like his arms aren't fully extended. He's not turning them over, putting that thumb down.
A little bit short.
He's shortening his own range by not extending, which has surprised me.
Good takedown defense and a combination for Leandro Higo.
One thing Baby Joe is doing is he's throwing a lot more than Higo in the second round.
Patricky Pitbull a couple of weeks ago with the win over Benson Henderson. So there's a good mojo with Patricio having a belt, and now Higo wanting to stake his claim here in the Bellator cage. Just past the midway point of the fight.
Look at his big overhands taking him off balance. Good right hand by Higo. Now it's Higo going in for the body lock. Seems like he's going into Baby Joe's wheelhouse with his chest-to-chest position. It's surprising to me.
Mingo's in a great position here. I just don't know if he spent a lot of time in it. He doesn't seem to know what to do there. He's very strong. He holds his hips well. He holds his feet well. But he doesn't execute an offense.
Well, you know, not everyone's got a lifetime of Greco-Roman show.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that, and I don't mean to talk condescendingly. I'm just so impressed with how he can force that position, get exactly where he's get his hands locked, get his elbows in the right spot.
Because it's such an expenditure of energy, too. I mean, he's really working hard to get in there. Oh, nice right hand.
Looking to change levels a bit. Bellator Nation, join the conversation at #Bellator184. Mike Goldberg, Chael Sonnen, and Jimmy Smith.
Outside trip. Beautiful.
I think Higo's going to advance the mount here. If he could just beat that knee, he's a couple inches away.
Final minute of round number 2.
Man, what a close round, too.
Higo looking to push this knee down, trying to bring his right leg over. He'll be in mount.
Jimmy, you told me a little while back that the true X factor, not just tonight, but maybe in Bellator overall, is Higo.
Yeah. We just don't know exactly what he has. Comes with a great record, great reputation, but the one time we saw him in Bellator, he came up short in a very difficult fight under very difficult circumstances.
Higo fought just once in 2016. Battled some injuries, been busier since then. Fought in Budapest back in April. Nicely done, good takedown defense by the Brazilian Pitbull. Leandro Higo, Joe Taiminglo, third and final round. Jimmy, how do you score it thus far?
I have it all tied up. I gave Baby Joe by the narrowest of margins, round 2. He landed a couple big right hands. They both did, but it was Taiminglo a little bit busier, throwing a little bit more, being a little bit more the aggressor. That's why I give him the edge, but man, that second round could have gone either way.
Yeah, it was certainly close. I had that takedown with Higo possibly giving that, but I don't know that I would argue with you too strongly. Taiminglo pushing forward here. Like to see those hands just a little bit busier.
Well, clearly you are not on social media if you are unwilling to argue vehemently every scorecard. Trust me, they all know me.
Oh, yeah. 10th Bellator fight for Joe Taiminglo. 10,000th Bellator fight for Jimmy Smith.
If that. Maybe double that or not.
All right, who will take over here in our third and final round? Just missed with the uppercut. Oh, look at this, checking in, Mr. Wonderful, Phil Davis. He will be on his campus, Penn State University, where he won the national championship. So will national champion Ed Root. 2 title fights, including Ryan Bader's first title defense. That is November 3rd from the Bryce Jordan Center, the campus of Penn State University, Happy Valley.
A bunch of tough guys you just mentioned right there. Oh! Good march step by Higo, landed a couple shots there. Taiminglo's got to get a little bit busier. I like how he's standing his ground. I like how he's taking ground. I'd like to see those hands moving in a forward motion, though.
He was busier in round 2. Leandro Higo, when he really throws that right hand, man, he cracks Baby Joe. Spends a little too much time looking at him. Another good right hand.
Higo, winner 10 of his last 12. Looking for his first Bellator victory. Both Chael and Jimmy have this fight very close thus far. Right hand connects for Higo.
He's getting inside the punches of Baby Joe, who's swinging a lot wilder.
Look, Jimmy, if all things are equal, no one's landing punches, but one guy's throwing punches, he's winning. And right now, that's Higo.
Yep.
He is throwing the shots.
That was Baby Joe in round 2. It's Higo so far in round 3.
Been a little bit of grappling. Nothing on the ground, a lot of striking so far in this matchup. Great to be here, Mike Corbett, Jimmy Smith, Chael Sonnen, and Jen Brown. Bellator MMA live on Spike. Red gloves for Joe Taiminglo, blue gloves for Leandro Higo.
The reason we haven't seen a lot of takedowns, a lot of groundwork, is they both have that chest-to-chest style. Neither guy has really an outside takedown like a Darrion Caldwell. The guy getting close to use it, that means walking through strikes.
Higo trains his wrestling with Eric Alberson.
Behind you, right over here.
Shot was low, you could hear it.
How you doing? You okay? You got time. You take your time. You let me know when you're ready, okay? You need to see the doc? Okay. Okay.
Leandro
Yeah, I came
Higo,
up, accident,
very
no problem.
close.
Stay right here. Stay.
With Olympic gold medalist Henry
You good?
Cejudo.
You sure?
Take a look at it
Okay.
and listen, because we can.
Time, gentlemen, fight.
Oh, caught the bottom of the cup for sure.
Fight continues. Who
Watch
will
fingers,
make the
Leandro.
big statement here in the third round? Under 2 minutes on the clock. Joe T aggressive. Says he wants to be the first world champion from Guam. Proud of his homeland.
Diving for that doubling, no setup at all. Can't give up a takedown in a very close round.
Higo's trying not to let that happen, Jimmy.
Yeah, very smart. He's taking his back. Higo's got an opportunity here to just dump him over the top. It looks like he's going to the side. That's a little harder route of defense.
Just one hook in.
Yep, if Taiminglo could throw that right leg in, he's going to be attached to him for a while. And there it is, Jimmy.
Yep.
Now, Higo's probably going to look to throw him right over the top or to take him backwards, but either way, he needs wrist control. He's got it right now, but he needs to maintain that wrist control to stop the choke from coming in.
Problem with the standing rear naked or standing with the hooks in is it takes a lot of gas out of both guys and he lets it go.
JL, you can see Leandro Higo's kind of shaking the hips a little bit just to get his opponent in a better position for him to escape.
Yeah, this is a great look for Domingo. He's not doing a whole lot with it, but it is a great look as the round winds down.
A lot of control, 30 seconds on the clock.
Guillotine.
Can he get it?
He's going hard for it.
He needs to pull his legs down. He's underneath the chin. Everything's in the right spot, but he needs to get that guard a little higher.
Arm is in.
15 seconds on the clock.
Boy, he is in great position, guys.
This one is close.
10 seconds. Joe T trying to fight it off, make his way to a decision, and he does. Wow!
He toughed that out.
He did, Chael.
That was in.
And that just made the third round very interesting. We go the distance. Joe T and the Brazilian Leandro Higo. Our official decision is coming up next. All right, partner, talk to me.
29-28 Leandro Higo. I gave him the first and third round. Second round, very close.
Let's see if the judges agree with the official decision. Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your three judges at cage side. Your first judge, Todd Anderson, scores the fight 29-28. While judges Michael Bell and Don Turnage both see the fight the same, 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Leandro Pitbull Higo.
First Bellator win for Leandro Higo. Our tale of the tape for this featherweight fight is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
What Macapa is going to have to deal with in this fight, the height and reach advantage of Pat Curran.
Pat Curran ready to battle John Macapa. And with the official introductions, Michael C. Williams.
From Spike Sports, Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, now moves to the featherweight division, scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner. At 5'7", weighing in 145.8 pounds, his professional record, 21 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws. Hailing from Macapa, Amapá, Brazil, presenting John Macapa. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'10", weighing in 145.6 pounds in his long-awaited return. The two-time former Bellator world champion tonight stands with 22 professional victories, 7 defeats. Fighting out of Chicago, Illinois, introducing Patty Mike Curran. In charge of the action, your referee, Jaron Villel.
Jaron Villel, our referee.
On my cue, gentlemen, all the
For
way
our
back.
second fight here live on Spike. Pat Curran, John Macapa.
Fighter, fight!
Here we go. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Blue gloves for Macapa, red gloves for Pat Curran.
What I'm looking for in the first round is the pace of Macapa. He usually fights, and he starts so quickly that guys never get their breath and never get any space. And Pat Curran has had a long time off. Can he shake the ring rust?
Yeah, that's always a question. Look at this any way you want. This is a comeback fight for Pat Curran, and I wasn't sure we were ever going to see it. As I've seen him already, he's already been a matador here once, stepped underneath, let Macapa go over the top. Curran's got his hands down and his chin up, and Jimmy, we talk about that all the time. Chin down and his hands up. But we talk about that all the time, and it's so important when you see one of these veterans like this, and it's so good to see him back to the basics.
Fought only 3 times since losing the belt to Patricio Pitbull back in September of 2014. And to have a punctured lung and continue to fight Jimmy in his last battle, That's some type of story.
In between rounds against Georgi Karhanian, he's literally coughing up blood. It's coming out of his mouth. He said, I think my lungs are bleeding. He ended up finishing the fight, not just finishing the fight, but winning in a dominant fashion. That's incredible.
Uppercut. Wild hands early. John Macapa looking to do damage against the former two-time champion.
Pat Curran talked about getting those punches in between the wild shots of Macapa. He throws wild, he throws big hooks. Pat Curran tends to throw straight with his hands and his feet.
John Macapa, 9-1 with a draw in his last 11 fights. Ton of success.
Cut already around the right eye, but Pat not really throwing much so far in this fight. That's one thing, he tends to be really picky with his shots.
He's a little reserved. You know, anytime a guy is in a comeback fight, condition is always the very first thing we look to. Then secondly, we look to timing. His conditioning is probably going to hold up at this pace. At some point, he's going to need to pull the trigger. He's going to get off a little bit, but I don't really mind. I don't really resent the fact that he is holding back in these first few moments.
Pat Curran said of his opponent, John Macapa, he's a wild Patricio Pitbull.
That's fair.
Yep. That's accurate.
Getting Macapa as your comeback fight is getting dealt from the bottom of the deck.
Right hand clipped.
Getting right over the top. Pat Curran connects.
That's what I mean about picky. He waits for that perfect shot, and then he throws it.
A couple of times, Chael, Pat showing that lead right uppercut. Keep an eye out for it.
Nice, another good right hand. Macapa so far undeterred.
Again, he gets tagged.
That one really hurt him. He saw his knees buckle for a second.
He's still hurt, Jimmy. He's coming forward, but he's still coming too.
Blood down the right side of Curran's face, but it's out of his eyes, so it's okay. Leg kick by John Macapa.
There was a time I think Pat Curran would have been all over him. I don't think he recognized how badly he had Macapa hurt with that right hand.
90 seconds into that first round against Georgi Karhanian. The heel to the ribs, punctured his lung. He finished the fight, and he won.
See, now Maka was backing up a little bit. This is not the guy who was pressing forward early on in the round. This is the guy who was eating some right hands and got some respect. Exactly what you want to do if you're Pat Curran. Make this guy respect me. Make him back off.
Pat said, if I'm going to keep doing this, I want to retire as a world champion. Got to get a win tonight, then another couple of wins, and stay healthy.
I like what we're seeing from Curran. He's getting a little bit of a slow start. I would give one critique, though. When he does throw punches or kicks, it's one at a time as opposed to punches and bunches. To your point earlier, Jimmy, he's even had Macapa hurt. He didn't know it. He didn't spring on it, but it was a great opportunity to get a few shots in right there. Another one. He could have sprung on it. He could have followed up with something.
He's just so picky with his offense. He generally doesn't open up and let his hands fly. He likes being the sniper.
And he's been very successful sniping thus far, 4.5 minutes in, Jimmy.
Look at those hands, high and tight. Doesn't give you an easy access to his chin at all.
Flying knee attempt, Curran saw. Heavy kick answered by the right hand.
Look at the timing on that shot. Beautiful placement.
The former Bellator poster boy, Pat Curran, firing away late in round number 1.
The sniper, the counter-puncher, Pat Curran, sniping and counter-punching in round 1. Look at these two right hands, especially that one, buckled the knees of Macapa, the left hook right on the chin. That's how he fights.
Round 2, Curran in the red gloves, Macapa in the blue gloves. Curran a professional since 2008. About the same experience for 30-year-old John Macapa, both men 30 years old.
These guys are trading. Nobody's getting off the hook with a free punch here. Macapa comes in with a huge leg kick, but Curran comes over the top, touches him right on the nose.
And what I loved about that is bang, 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 out. He didn't forget his footwork, didn't neglect to fight from the waist down. He got out of that position after he threw that combo.
Fake the hands, looks for the shot and the takedown.
Pat Curran, so difficult to hold down, does have a wrestling background.
Curran needs to get that left hand all the way back to what we call a side wizard, and he's going to stick that fist in Makapa's armpit, just like that. That's going to allow him to get back to his feet. He can start to dig in an underhook here with his right arm and turn to face him. He's got to get to an underhook.
Curran put his own camp together near his home of the last 11 years for this one. Still to come, co-main event, former champion Daniel Strauss, Emmanuel Sanchez, main event, bantamweight world title fight.
I like the message that sends. The takedown isn't just going to be there every time you want it. You have to work for it. And as we talked about many times, it makes guys hesitate when they know that.
Marlon Sandro, 40 years old now, great fighter, longtime member of Team Novo União with Macapa and with the champion Eduardo Dantas. Jimmy, you were working on that storyline of, well, you know, Pat Curran beat like your mentor, your coach. Is there a little revenge? He kind of bit a little bit, right?
He kind of danced around the question a little bit.
Marlon wanted revenge.
Yep.
That was that crazy head kick finish.
Put Pat Curran really on the map.
Yep.
Marlon Sandro, a top 5 guy at the time, and that really made Pat Curran one of the top featherweights in the world, knocking him out.
No fingers out. Let's go. Close fist. Here we go. Fight.
Watch for those open hands is what Jaron Villel's saying. People are loving it thus far. Stand-up war between the former champion and the Brazilian from Novo União.
Such a close round. Neither guy really putting their stamp on it. But what Pat's doing so well is he's blocking those wild shots. Virtually none have gotten through and done damage. Hands high, chin down. Great answer to the kind of offense Macapa generally uses on the feet.
Yeah, look, here's the balance for the judges. Macapa is touching him more than Curran's touching Macapa. However, particularly if you go back to the first round, Macapa was hurt 3 times, and one of them even went down to a knee. I think that's the same for this contest, or rather for this round. Macapa hasn't gone down, I understand that, but he has taken the harder shots. Arguably, that's what I'm seeing. Those kicks are vicious.
Nice. Yep. And he used those kicks in the win against Justin Lawrence. Right here in Thackerville, used them very well.
One thing about Pat Curran, he has a very boxing-heavy style. What does that mean? You rely a lot on your lead leg. You're going to turn with hooks. You're going to push off the jab. Good thing to do against that kind of style. Leg kick, that front leg. Take it away from him.
Yeah, you hit down lower than the Muay Thai striker, Jim.
Yep. And they're not light on that lead leg the way a Muay Thai fighter would be.
The real trick is to be able to go back and forth from that position. Stay light, Muay Thai style, and then dig in, boxing style.
Tough to do.
Yep.
And this is where that pickiness of Pat Curran can work against him, because right now I have Macapa slowly winning this round, basically, like you said, on his activity level. Successful with the leg kicks, but he's just throwing more.
Yeah, he's just touching him a little bit more often.
Can he get the takedown? Yep.
That'll make a big difference, particularly if he goes to mount, and he is.
That's a big shot. Curran trying to do some damage here, ground and pound in the last 30 seconds of the round.
Curran needs to look for wrist control. He's going to lose this.
Nice job by John Macapa, got right back up.
So far, I would say in this round, mostly the activity and leg kicks of Macapa versus the one takedown of Pat Curran. Right now, I'd say Macapa.
Ate that jab. Looking for a flying knee, Macapa saw it coming. Final seconds of round number 2 of this featherweight fight. The beautiful Mercedes. She's a regular here, WinStar World Casino and Resort. Bellator 184, third and final round between Macapa and Curran. Jimmy, what do you got?
I have it all tied up. Macapa, leg kicks, more active in round 2. Pat Curran not able to wobble him or land those significant clean shots like he did in round 1.
Guys, I expect this round to be different. I really feel that Curran has been conserving energy. I think that he's going to empty the tank here. I know that's what he should do. I think we're going to see a lot busier Pat Curran in the next 5 minutes.
Chael, his corner, when we were in break, said, take him down. You can take him down easily. And he said, that's why we worked on that so much in our training camp.
Curran just heard it.
Tight left hook.
There was that lead rear uppercut you were talking about. Good shot, way to get his hands. Look how he turns the corner. Excellent, excellent takedown right there. He needs to get his hands locked if he wants to drag him down to the mat. Pat Curran, very coachable, Goldie.
His cousin Jeff fought in Pride, the UFC. He kind of brought his cousin Pat up to Chicago and got him started. It was one of those one-door closes and another one opens for Pat Curran. Now he's been around this a very long time.
Jeff Curran's as tough as an old leather boot, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Pioneer.
He was a pioneer, absolutely. Deserves that.
Pat began training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at age 17 with Jeff.
Guys, I think at this point the question becomes, why did the corner not tell him to do this sooner? Because they were right.
You know
he hasn't
what?
missed
They
a shot
should've done
yet.
this in round 1.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is though, Chael, why does the corner have to remind you?
Hey, no, we're on the same page here.
We're all friends here, guys. We're all
Yeah, that's
friends
right.
here. No need for an
We're
argument.
not fighting about this goal. But I will tell you, he hasn't missed a takedown attempt. The corner was absolutely right about that. He is 100% on attempts. The bad news, he's only attempted 3 shots.
But the angle cut on that double leg around the corner, that's beautiful stuff.
Good transitions. Macapa trying to get back up.
A great half guard sweep there by Macapa. Pat outworked him a little bit. He's going to hang on top here. He's going to have to adjust his lock back down around about where the shorts are. Get it back to about the waist, or they're just going to stay in this position.
Chael, you only heard this about 200,000 times. Tough to take him down, tougher to keep him down.
That's right.
Especially a guy with this build. Short, stocky, doesn't take a lot for him to pop back to his feet.
I agree with Jimmy. I think everything's split right here. This round matters, and off to a good start for Pat Curran. And I really do think Curran's got some energy left in the tank.
Can't take your punches home with you. He's got him. He's got to spend them now.
Mike Goldberg, Chael Sonnen, Jimmy Smith, Jen Brown, great to be in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Our second of 4 fights here live and free on Spike. Our main event, Eduardo Dantas and Darrion Caldwell for the Bantamweight Championship. This fight, Curran and Macapa, very close. Oh my, that's the best kick of this fight, and it came from Curran.
I watched a fight about a decade ago sitting right next to Chuck Liddell, and Chuck was so frustrated because he said, you know, the judges don't understand how effective and how powerful these leg kicks are. That was a decade ago. They do now understand. Look, guys, these are adding up the same as punches to the face. Those leg kicks matter.
Look at the high crotch now. Goes inside, Iranian. There it is, boom.
Bellator heavyweight, Justin Wren, watching Pat Curran. Several punches have sounded like home runs. I like that. He's in the crowd here tonight in Thackerville.
Well, they'll let just anybody in, won't they?
Oh, this is so easy. They let Jimmy in over.
Hey, dude, I got to sneak in.
It's so easy, Chael. Too easy. We won't do the white man can't jump again on you like in prelims, Chael. We will send you the movie, I promise.
Jimmy, what do you think about this Pat Curran? You think that coconut oil has anything to do with it? Are you starting to buy into this now?
Hey, wherever he gets it, I'm gonna
Buy
start
stock.
buying it.
Buy stock in coconut oil.
Because he's had a long time off, and he's fought a fantastic fight, in my opinion.
Caught him
Still
with the
tight,
left.
still accurate.
Caught him with the left,
hook's been money.
goalie, but he didn't follow up.
Yes.
That's the one thing he's going to take from tonight. It's been a pretty great performance, frankly, from both guys. The judges have their work out here, but Pat Curran has got to follow up, punches and bunches. Again, one kick, why not throw a cross after that, Pat?
Throughout his career, the one knock I've had in his fights is a little too picky. Doesn't let his combinations flow. He kind of waits for that perfect shot.
You told me once he falls behind, his patient style becomes a detriment from time to time. This one's going to go the distance. Who will it be, the former champion Curran or the Brazilian, John Macapa? Our official decision is coming up next. Right on the border of Oklahoma and Texas, WinStar World Casino and Resort. With the official decision of this featherweight fight, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your judges at cage side. Your first judge, Michael Bell, scores the fight 29-28. Judge Don Turnage, 30-27, and Judge David Sutherland, 30-26. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision. Patty Curran.
First fight in 504 days, and it is a win. Here is Jimmy.
The only question I have for you is, with all the time off, all the struggles, all you've been through, how does it feel to be back?
Dude, it's amazing. This is a dream come true right now. I put such a hard training camp together. I work 40 hours a week, getting ready for this fight, training in the evening. I gotta thank my corners, Mike Val with Val Flow Striking, Brett, Vinny, Nick, Speed and Sport, all you guys, thank you so much. I fucking love you.
And he is back, featherweight division. You're on notice, Patty Mike Curran.
Congratulations, Patty Mike Curran. Our tale of the tape for our co-main event of the evening is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Daniel Strauss, more experienced and a former champ. He's fought the elite of the division.
Everything else is virtually identical. Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite, now features tonight's co-main event, 3 5-minute rounds in the featherweight division. Brought to you tonight by Spike Sports. We introduce the blue corner. At 5'9", weighing in 145.2 pounds. His professional record, 15 wins, just 3 losses, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez. And across the cage, his adversary tonight fights out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 145.8 pounds. The 2-time former Bellator featherweight world champion enters tonight with 24 professional victories, 7 defeats. Fighting out of Pompano Beach, Florida, he hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. Introducing Daniel Strauss. In charge of the action, your referee, Kerry Hatley.
Kerry Hatley, our referee for this, our co-main event of the evening. Cincinnati native, Daniel Strauss.
All right, gentlemen, this is where your hard work pays off.
Emmanuel Sanchez. Here we go. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Blue gloves for Sanchez, red gloves for Strauss. Jail, who comes out kicking and just blocked that one.
Look, this is the thing with Sanchez. He is not likely to back up. Regardless of what happens, he comes forward. I don't see huge power from him. I think his power is fine. I don't see huge power from him. I see huge output from him. He touches you at all times, and he always stays within range.
Now the wrestling advantage, usually with Strauss, but nice step over, getting funky. A lot of confidence in his jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah, in both guys. You know, Strauss is so good. Strauss has been overlooked, in my opinion, by the media for far too long. Right here, Strauss really needs to steer him off this fence, Jimmy. He wants to put his head to the fence, get those feet off of it. Sanchez, at any point, if he puts both feet on that fence, has an opportunity to buck. Take that opportunity away if you're Strauss. Just steer that fence to it.
And also,
head to the fence,
yeah,
rather.
and also he can do a lot with a little bit of space. You saw here he went whizzer and stepped over. He'll do something funky if you give him space. Like that.
Yeah, oh, he's still working here. These two guys aren't going to stop.
Strauss suffered that broken left hand. He broke it in the first round in the title fight with Patricio Pitbull.
Rolling for a knee bar. Sorry to interrupt you there, but man, that's good.
He's got a knee bar. Strauss needs to take that free foot,
Get it.
post on his butt, and push himself forward. It's not going to get any worse for Strauss. That's the
Put it
good
under
news.
the armpit. He can do that. That can make it worse. He's not doing that yet.
Jimmy's got to use that free foot and push it right in the butt. It looks like he's doing it. It looks like he might be stuck.
He's cranking on it.
And there is a nasty cut. Looks like it's over the eye. He needs to tuck that under his right armpit. That would make it a lot worse. Just like that.
Wow.
Nope. That's under the armpit.
Yeah.
That makes it worse.
Shogun versus Mark Coleman. Ring a bell?
Exactly.
Strauss is pushing, but he's not in the butt. He wants to get that free foot right in the tailbone. Lord, come on top.
That's as straight as it gets, and he was able to get out.
Great job done by Strauss. 3 surgeries on that broken left hand. He wasn't tapping there.
Wow.
North-south. How close was that, Chael?
It looked pretty painful to me. I didn't see it quite hyperextended. Jimmy's point, if Sanchez could have got it under his armpit and extended a little bit more, my leg would have been hurting a little bit right there, but Strauss never grimaced. He never cried out in pain.
What's the pace of these guys? Now going Darce. Submission for submission.
Great technique with those long arms.
Yep, Sanchez trying to roll out of it. Now it becomes a north-south choke, slightly different.
Now Sanchez is on the defense.
They are fighting like it's a one-round fight.
Gives it up, at least for now. Daniel Strauss, 11 wins in his Bellator career. Don't forget, Bellator returns with the debut of middleweight destroyer Gegard Mousasi. He will fight former champ Alexander the Storm Shlemenko. Irish Brennan Ward takes on the caveman Dave Rickles and more. It's Bellator MMA 2 weeks from tonight at 9 p.m. East, 8 Central, live and free on Spike. 90 seconds on the clock here in round 1.
And this is what Strauss is so good at, that physical pressure. It's like being underneath an avalanche with his ground and pound. He never lets up.
Lost only 4 times in the Bellator cage. 3 of those to Patrice Pitbull, the other to Pat Curran.
Unbelievable what just happened here.
Wow, everybody back and forth, good transitions. Now it's Strauss on the defensive.
Body triangle.
He's actually getting under the chin, guys. This is a problem. Big problem here.
He just gave the thumbs up to Kerry Hatley.
Still on the chin.
Looking to switch it up a little bit. The body triangle on the good side for now. Sanchez looking to soften him up, Jimmy.
Man, unbelievable back and forth fight. Sanchez certainly committed to the body triangle, but not able to get that arm underneath the chin yet.
Notice Strauss pushing on that elbow, pushing up to block it from coming under the chin. That's one place he doesn't want it. Good wrist control here. Strauss is stuck. Look, Jimmy, when that body triangle's in, you're going to be there a little bit. The one good news for Strauss, he got in this position with only about 50 seconds left in the frame.
Yeah, I was going to say the good news is 15 seconds till the end of round number 1. A great back and forth round 1 in our co-main event. Both men surviving strong submission attempts, and the battle will continue.
Stop.
Wow, very entertaining, and that's an understatement. First 5 minutes, Jimmy.
Here we go, round 2.
Unbelievable back and forth action.
Who got the edge in your mind?
Flip a coin. By the barest of margins, they're showing 2 rounds. I would go 10-9 Sanchez because came closer to finishing the fight with the knee bar, ended on top, rear naked choke. Both guys had their moments. It's that Sanchez came closer to finishing the fight.
Guys, Strauss needs to finish this position. He shot himself in here. He came below the knee. Once you're below the knee, the top guy's got a real advantage. Don't forget, in MMA wrestling, whoever's head is higher is winning. It's not about control in MMA. It's about positioning. Right here, Sanchez is winning this exchange.
Sanchez lives, trains, and eats in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Team Rufus Sport. Been there almost 5 years with our good buddy Duke Rufus. Strauss is out. Closed guard. Now open, but still has the guard working.
And it wouldn't surprise me if there were 50 scorecards and all of them were different about that first round.
Absolutely.
Guys, there's such a narrative in MMA about guys that are finishing fights. The longer discussion on that, we don't really need to see a fight finish. We need to see 2 guys trying to finish the fight. That's what makes something great. This is a great fight.
Exactly.
Strauss working his nutrition with Perfecting Athletes. Michelle and Paulina been with him for the last 4 years. They do a great job.
His fight, his second fight in Bellator, certified overall against Pat Curran. One of the toughest weight cuts I have ever seen. Actually cut his hair to make weight.
You made weight again? Is that why you do that?
Man, he made weight.
Yeah, but you cut your hair, right?
No, that's why, man. That's why, dude. I haven't cut weight in 10 years, thank God. Done with that. I just hate my hair.
Sanchez hitting a reversal from half guard there, looking like he's Gordon Ryan.
Unbelievable.
He talked about his girlfriend being his nutritionist, getting slim with Stacy. His parents spoke no English when they first came to the U.S. Emmanuel Sanchez.
Now, both these guys have had issues with the scale. Very hard for them to make weight. Sanchez has not made weight in his last few fights. He made it tonight. So whatever she's doing, it's working.
A couple guys came into our fighter meetings, Jimmy, and the first thing they said to you was, hey, I'm on weight.
Yeah. Hey, when Ego and Baby Joe Taminglo both make it, that's good.
Amen. Back up.
Don't expect him to let Strauss off the hook. He's going to keep the pressure on. You want to keep the wrestler on his back. Remember, he gave up submissions to Pat Curran and Patricio Pitbull, both rear naked chokes. Look at that top pressure. So that's what lets you sneak that leg over. Beautiful into side control. Thinking arm triangle goes Mount. Beautiful stuff.
It's just an activity level. It's just a Sanchez will not stop moving. He is bugging you and annoying you at all times. Little movements, big movements, but constantly busy.
Postured up, raining down some elbows, some big ground and pound.
It's a bad sign when Strauss is just hanging on. Going old school with this.
He sure is.
Yep.
The kid born in the Queen City, Cincinnati, Ohio, Daniel Strauss, taking a lot of punishment here.
Jimmy, I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody climb on top of Daniel Strauss and just sit on top of him.
The cloak machine, Emmanuel Sanchez, said, is like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. Tonight he wants to catch Daniel Strauss.
He knows how deep this division is. He knows he has to be dominant to get his shot.
Postured up, full defensive mode for Strauss. And a great pace for El Matador.
We're starting to get into 10-8 range if he keeps doing this and really hurts him.
J.L. Strauss unable to control the posture of Sanchez, and it's bad because of that.
And goalies, what you just said, it's not that he's not trying to do it. He is bucking, he is moving, he's covering up, he's trying to intelligently defend. There's too many things to choose from right now. Should he protect his head, or should he start pushing knees down and shrimping? You can only do one. He's electing to protect his face. Smart move.
Terry Huntley right on top of the action. Strauss trying to survive another 13 seconds. The referee watching very closely. There's no clock in the ref's mind. Wow, he survived. Emmanuel Sanchez's last 8 fights have gone to the judges' scorecards. Lots of Bellator rounds against top guys. 3rd round against Strauss was the 2nd round at 10-8, Jimmy?
I had it 10-8. I thought it was complete domination. Almost finished the fight. 5 more seconds, that fight's over.
Yeah, I don't fully know what constitutes a 10-7, but I've never seen a round that's more one-sided than that. I didn't actually see it the way Kerry Hatley, our referee, did. I would have stopped that contest.
10-7 is Gray Maynard, Frankie Edgar. Knocking him around a couple times.
You know what? If this had been a different fighter, we might have seen a stoppage. They're going to give a former champ the benefit of the doubt. I really believe that. There's a lot of respect in there.
Yeah, Jimmy, here, and Chael, you know this. Yeah. These referees know who they are officiating for. Big John McCarthy knows, where that breaking line is for many fighters because he watches so closely.
Prelim, this fight's over.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's one of those things where he respected Daniel Strauss's, veteran experience. Now going once again, knee bar, leg lock.
Well, what's incredible is that Strauss took 60 seconds off and came right back.
Triangle. Beautiful, right into the triangle. It's a reverse triangle.
Strauss needs to posture here.
It's a reverse position. He wants to lock it up the other way. It's locked over the wrong shoulder.
Man, Sanchez spectacular tonight. A lot of this fight on the ground.
He's going for a modified key lock, trying to push that wrist over to lock the shoulder. Now he's going triangle on the right side.
Strauss has got to posture. He's either going to tap Jimmy or he's going to stay here the entire round and take elbows.
Exactly. Now he's under the leg. This is going to be done if Strauss doesn't show something. He's got to get out of this. This looks tight.
Man, what a gamer the former two-time champion is, though.
Heart for days.
And it's all over. Emmanuel Sanchez finishes Daniel Strauss. What a huge victory.
The performance of his career. Give that man a title shot.
That was incredible. That was the statement of statements.
Didn't just win, dominated the last 2 rounds of that fight.
Our fight replays brought to you by Blackheart Premium Spiced Rum, the bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core.
My question is, what are they going to use as a highlight? Because any of this could have been a highlight. It's the finish right here. Gets him, the triangle's locked on the wrong side. He pushes it across, locks it on the correct side, arm underneath the leg, and he tells the referee, yeah, he taps right there with the right hand. You just tap the ribs with the right hand. No protest from Strauss. Beautiful stuff by Emmanuel Sanchez.
Emmanuel Sanchez with the biggest win of his Bellator career. The official decision is coming up next. Great finish, great victory for El Matador Emmanuel Sanchez to make it official. Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a triangle choke. Official time, 1 minute, 56 seconds into round number 3. The winner by submission, Emmanuel El Matador Sanchez.
Best performance inside the Bellator cage. Here is Jimmy.
I'm here with your winner, El Matador Emmanuel Sanchez. First off, on behalf of everybody watching this fight here and at home, I want to say thank you. That was an amazing performance against a guy you respected, a former champion. You have the best performance of your Bellator career. How does it feel?
I knew it was a long time coming, man. You know, you've seen a lot of close ones, right? And a lot of back and forth. And sadly, my face like this. I'm sorry, Mom and Stacy, but, you know, hey, it's the life of a prize fighter. So I left it all on the line, and I came out with the win in the finish.
Against a former champion, you get not just a win, but a convincing finish. What's your message to the rest of the division?
Hey, man, I've said it since the beginning. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. I don't care what weight, what division, what anything. Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Name, place, you give it to me, I'm there. I fought everybody that the matchmaker Rich Chow and the boss Scott Coker wanted me to fight. That's the 3rd former champion in a row. What's next? Anybody.
You heard it. El Matador says it. Give it up for Emmanuel Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen.
Tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening, is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Talk about the age, only 1 year difference, but look at the experience. 20-4 for Eduardo Dantas, 10-1 for Darrion Caldwell.
Cannot wait for this title fight. Here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, live on Spike, Bellator MMA, presented by Miller Lite from WinStar World Casino and Resort. The time has come for the main event of the evening. 5 5-minute rounds for the Bellator Bantamweight World Championship. Sanctioned by the Chickasaw Nation Office of the Gaming Commissioner, Mr. Scott Colbert. Tonight's world title fight is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. It's Miller time. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 134.7 pounds, near perfect as a professional. He brings 10 wins, just 1 loss. From Rahway, New Jersey, he fights out of San Diego, California, presenting the challenger, Darrion "The Wall" Caldwell. And across the cage, the champion tonight fights out of the red corner at 5'7", weighing in 134.5 pounds. As a professional, he brings 20 victories, 4 defeats, hailing from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing the defending 2-time Bellator Bantamweight World Champion, Dudu Eduardo Dantas. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge of the action, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog, our referee for this main
Fighters
event.
going over the rules in the back. There were no final questions from you, Blue. There were no final questions from you, Red. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Come out ready to fight.
I guess that was a glove touch.
You know what they did? They did. Come on.
It's the intent that matters. I know they touched, but I don't know if they had the intent.
Dantas, Caldwell.
First round, fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Fight!
Here we go! Tonight's fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers. It's Miller time. Blue gloves for the southpaw, Darrion Caldwell. Red gloves for the champion, Eduardo Dantas.
Interested to see what Darrion Caldwell has picked up in the realm of stand-up. We haven't seen much of his boxing, kickboxing. He generally throws wild strikes in order to get to the legs.
They both connect early.
For the switch. Nice transition by Caldwell.
Caldwell can be a little patient here. He's got his hands locked. He's winning this position. He doesn't have to think like a college wrestler where he's got to drag him down and get control. Right here is a win. With the judges, a few seconds, but a few seconds at a time, Jimmy. They all add up. Knees to the back of the legs are an option. Picking him up, dragging him down. He was in a similar position with Joe Warren, sent him all the way over the top, Josh Barnett style.
5-point throw, beautiful stuff.
Looking for it, boom!
Like that,
Right on
just
cue.
like that.
Dantas trying to avoid it happening again.
Again, the key here is that he's keeping his hands locked. Many guys hit that belly-to-back suplex. They let the opponent go. Caldwell just needs to stay attached.
One thing about Dantas, he has the Jiu-Jitsu roll with something like that. Right down, gave up a rear naked.
109 collegiate wrestling wins, and he was hurt most of his senior season at NC State. National champion, 2-time All-American, putting the pressure on the champ early.
No, we expected this kind of fight. He's known as a fast starter.
Yeah.
He's known to be extremely aggressive. This is the kind of storm that Eduardo Dantas has to weather.
Jimmy, you were talking about the fact that over the last 10 or 11 Bellator fights overall for everybody, this man may have fought the least amount of time, the least rounds.
Yes, exactly. Very explosive, quick finishes in his last couple fights.
Guys, Dantas' options are very limited right now. The basic rule is fight the hands, which he's doing. Second step, drive your hips forward and make him block. However, when his hips come forward, his elevation goes up, and he gets suplexed.
And he doesn't have the room to go forward.
So he needs to just be a little patient right here. Start to play the game. Eventually, I'd expect an elbow or two to fly back from Dantas. It won't do much damage, but it might change the position. Otherwise, he's going to have to be patient, and Caldwell is playing the same game. Not a lot of options for Caldwell. He doesn't have to take him down, knowing that his opponent's just going to spring back up. Save a little energy, put the crowd to sleep, maybe we're going to hear some boos, but the judges are paying attention, and that are the 3 people that matter, Jimmy.
And also roll for a knee bar from here. Wouldn't surprise if he goes funky for something like that as well. If you're Darrion Caldwell, you don't let that right leg sneak in between the legs of Eduardo Dantas.
Longest layoff of his career in anticipation of this fight, 307 days, but he's coming out very strong. This is the 3rd time he has fought here in Thackerville, 4th for Dantas. Herzog says don't hold the fence.
Nice move, but can't keep him down. So he's constantly touching the cage, he's constantly touching the pad, but not always grabbing.
Dantas first won the belt in 2012, arm triangle choke win against Zach Makovsky.
They break.
They break it, and let's see if Dantas can take advantage. Head kick for Caldwell, flying knee.
That's what I mean about funky, wild techniques, and he just drops for a low single leg after. Really trying to catch that kick. Normally, opposite stances, you'd be leg kicking like crazy, but he's hesitant to throw it after spending all that time in a waist cinch.
Opens up that straight right against the southpaw, or opposite, as Caldwell looked for there.
Dantas keeping his hands high.
Oh.
Nice right, nice left over the top.
Yep, on the way in, on the way out. Final 30 seconds of the first of a potential 5-minute rounds. Dantas trying to establish some leg kicks, no luck so far.
One of the problems with facing this southpaw is the jab is just not as effective as it was against the orthodox Joe Warren.
The highlight of that round, the suplex by the Wolf, the NC State National Wrestling Champ. Kareem Gaji for the welterweight title, the return of Stitch 'em Up Joe Silling, and the Soul Assassin Kevin Ross. Bellator Kickboxing after our main event. Mike Goldberg, Jimmy Smith, Chael Sonnen, Jen Brown, round 2 of our main event of the evening, and a good round 1 in this bantamweight title fight for the challenger Darrion Caldwell.
Hey, and Dantas knows it. He doesn't care if they're close rounds or not. If he's not coming out with the 10 points, he's got to come forward, and he's starting to do that now. And the one thing that Dantas is so good at is his range. It's a little hard to establish it for him in that first frame. Boy, that's a fast shot, Jimmy. I mean, my goodness, that is really
unbelievable.
A special level of speed, and here we go.
Special level of athlete.
Yep.
I think he's walking him over to his corner. Yeah, he sure is. He walked him right over to his corner, but again, same position we've already seen. Now, when Caldwell is hitting that, he's looking to bring that left leg over and trip the right ankle of Dantas. He just keeps missing it by about 5 inches.
You know, like I said in the breakdown, even if you found a national champion, okay, you found a guy who won a national title, I'm gonna train with him. They don't wrestle like Darrion Caldwell. He had a funky style in the NCAAs. I mean, he had a funky style that other top-level wrestlers weren't ready for. So you might be able to find a guy with his credentials on paper, but not with his style.
Freestyle wrestling brings him supreme confidence in dictating where this fight takes place. 90 seconds into the second.
I like these head kicks too by Caldwell. I think we should probably start giving him a little due for these because they are landing. He's a guy that's always kind of struggled knowing where his range is, getting much power on those. These are real head kicks.
Credit to Dantas' defense. He always keeps that right hand high, always keeps his chin low. Very sound defense. He's been able to block him.
Yeah, he's got that right hand in the pocket ready to fire.
But what he can't do is let Darrion Caldwell get away with things like that flying knee, these big, wild techniques. He has to make him pay for reaching for him like that with more of those right hands.
And we've seen over time, Jimmy, that when Dantas has success, there's the head kick against Chael. It's because he's putting his combinations together.
Yeah, he's generally not a one-and-done kind of striker.
Yeah.
He needs 3 and 4 to put you away. That's what he has to start throwing.
Nice duck under by Caldwell. Loves Alliance MMA. Dominic Cruz talked a lot about training with Jeremy Stevens, one of the toughest dudes out there.
Heavy hands.
Justin Lawrence as well.
Guys, so many questions that come in. Dantas, heavy favorite in this fight, largely because people don't think Caldwell can hold up. I will tell you, he can hold this pace, and I will not make believe to our audience that this is the most exciting fight, but I won't make believe to you guys that this isn't smart.
Right.
And the minutes are ticking down.
Back to the body kick over and over. Nice leg kick in return. There's that head kick we've been talking about.
Caldwell mixing things up very nicely thus far.
In this second round, Dantas starting to control the real estate, starting to push forward, starting to be the aggressor. And he's landed, to me, something of substance to win back this round, and it's another takedown.
He needed that. Even if for a moment, Jimmy, there's a very close round.
You felt that momentum swing of Dantas starting to push him back.
Boy, that's great. Oh, he dropped it.
He hurt him.
Legitimate knockdown. Great recovery.
Yeah, good recovery. Trying to get it back to the feet, and he does. But that shot
hurt.
Yeah.
Look at Dantas marching forward.
That's one thing we have never seen. We've seen Dantas out-hustled, out-wrestled, but in the Bellator cage, we haven't seen him really hurt. We haven't seen him really rocked. That shot hurt him, make no mistake.
And it comes right after Chael, Jimmy saying that looked like Dantas was getting more comfortable, and it was a strong elbow that connected from Caldwell.
And Dantas marching forward.
Nice uppercut right through the guard.
This is why Dantas is the champion. This is how champions fight.
Good takedown defense there. Sprawl and brawl. Oh, he got him.
What's he starting to do? He's starting to make Darrion Caldwell work for the takedown. It's not going to be there every time you want it.
That spinning back fist connected.
So did Caldwell's one, too.
Yes, indeed. Final seconds of round 2. So far, so good in this bantamweight championship fight. Right here, live on Spike.
And look at the elbow. Bang, right on the chin. Eduardo Dantas rocked by that shot. I'm telling you, that would have dropped a lot of bantamweights. He got up and kept fighting, but I thought it won Darrion Caldwell the round.
So is he up 2-0?
Up 2-0, both 10-9.
Jimmy scorecard, Chael, 10-9, 10-9. I'm sure you agree.
I co-signed that.
There's a little signature underneath my scorecard, and I slide it over to Chael, and he signs on it. That's the way it works behind the scenes.
I'm kind of afraid to ask Chael if he always agrees, though, because
we can do this right now, bro. I fear nobody. Okay, Chael? All right?
Oh, Dantas.
He has the right to be wrong, just like everybody else. Okay?
Both these guys are making the other one wonder, and I know that that's true because I'm wondering.
Yeah.
They're confusing me from the outside. I don't know what they're going to do. Dantas spins this way. Caldwell coming with high kicks, falls up with a 1-2, singles lightning fast. You talk about a feeling out process. We are way past that in theory, but these guys don't know what to expect still.
Because they have so many weapons, you never know which one they're going to come at you with.
Can he stuff it again?
He's got to angle off that fence. Darrion Caldwell has done such a good job of killing time on the fence. How he's won the first 2 rounds.
Caldwell keeps his head position.
Yeah.
Pushing Dantas' jaw away, turning his head. He can hold this a little longer. Dantas knows that, pulls him off. Caldwell goes to the other side. He's got his hands locked. It's up nice and high on the hip. Be a lot easier for Caldwell if he had both legs. Singles are very tough in MMA.
Great stuff by Dantas.
Yes.
Spinning around, trying to take the back, didn't have time.
Takedowns aren't coming anymore. Big kick, swing and a miss. And they scramble once again.
Oh, he held the fence. Caldwell drug him down, though.
Looking for the switch. That's what he got on Zach Makovsky. Darrion Caldwell not going for it. Excellent wrist control this time.
Good pressure by Darrion Caldwell.
Just tenacious with the takedown. What this does, it stifles the offense of Eduardo Dantas.
Yes.
He's stuck dealing with this takedown, trying to get space and not able to get his game going, which is essentially an outside game.
And Jimmy, this is the pressure I was talking about before this fight, and I realize he's not getting the takedown he's looking for, but he is pressuring him.
The physical pressure is still there. That, no doubt. Low single leg, back to the regular single.
All kinds of pressure to your point, Chael.
Caldwell again with the head position. As long as he maintains that head position, he'll hold this spot.
Head fighting, something probably not talked enough about in MMA.
Yeah, that's right. If the opponent can't have his head and his neck, if he can't look where he wants to, it's hard to control the rest of his body. Right here, Caldwell putting the top of his head right on his opponent's jaw, turning his body away. It's just enough to really weaken the strength and the power of Dantas. First thing Dantas did before he got out of that position is he got control of his head back. Oh!
That was a heavy kick to the ribs.
is coming as a bit of a surprise. New weapon.
Confident that is for certain.
Got to throw more than one if he's going to catch Caldwell, who is very confident with his striking at the moment. Just uses it to set up his takedown. Everything's a distraction.
The champ's pushing the pace here. He knows he's got some catching up to do.
Slipping away.
Spins.
Looks like almost rolling for a leg lock there, but Dantas, beautiful positioning with his left leg. Won't let it get in between his legs.
Spent a few weeks with Craig Jones, he'd be finishing that.
Yep, this is not where Darrion Caldwell wants to be. On the bottom against Eduardo Dantas, Novignon black belt.
From Andre Pederneiras back in 2011.
Jimmy, are we seeing Caldwell starting to fade?
I think we are. End of round 3. Never been past round 3, but positionally, last thing he wants is to play guard against Dantas.
And Jimmy, we saw the gas tank emptied out in that submission loss to Joe T.
Exactly. And even in the rematch, which he won, he was vulnerable at the end of every round. He almost gave up front chokes. Good job getting a side control.
And he was dominant against Joe T for the first 2 rounds of that fight. Final 15 seconds, then we will hit the championship rounds. Good change of momentum for the champion.
The problem is, I don't think it was in time to swing the round. That's the difference.
Sit down. Sit down. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe.
Dominic Cruz, Eric Del Fierro.
Hey, sit up straight. Sit up straight. Breathe through your mouth, not your nose. Breathe through your mouth, not your nose. Listen. No, we lost that round.
Breathe
okay?
through your mouth, not your
top,
nose.
We lost that round. Look, I need left hand and left kick. Breathe through your mouth. Left hand and left kick. Okay?
Dantas looking
Round
very,
number 4.
very
we got 2 in
tired.
the back, we lost 1. It's you. You just got to hustle for it. Okay? Don't waste too much time on the legs if it's not there. Keep
Caldwell,
moving. Deep breath.
his nose might be broken only because, you know, Eric said, hey, breathe out of your mouth, not your nose. You don't want to clear your nose, then boom, the eyes blow up.
No, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Championship rounds for the first time in Darrion Caldwell's career. Dantas has successfully gone 5 rounds on more than 1 occasion in the Bellator cage.
You just get the sensation that the sand is kind of running out of the hourglass for Darrion Caldwell. A lot of that explosiveness starting to fade. Now, very close 3rd round. I barely gave it to Caldwell. I thought he controlled more of the round. Dantas controlling the last minute. But man, that was a close round. Very, very close.
And as this fight progresses, if it does go the distance, that may be the determining factor.
Crucial.
If Dantas can get these next 2, Jimmy.
Yep, could all come down to that 3rd round.
Both fighters want to avoid the judges' scorecards. Dantas wants to bring the belt back home to Rio de Janeiro and his new bride, Patricia. Trying to fight off the takedown, not that time.
Well, if he can get a hook in, Caldwell didn't even try.
Well, one thing Darrion Caldwell's been hesitant to do is go to a jiu-jitsu game. Hooks in, he doesn't want to play Dantas' game. Dantas has been doing this his whole life. He doesn't want to play jiu-jitsu, wants to make it a wrestling match, and he stayed with traditional wrestling rides. He doesn't want to put the hooks in, doesn't want to go for any chokes.
I like how Dantas is bringing his elbow in to put pressure on this lock, really make Caldwell's hands tire out. Right now, Caldwell's just hanging on, which is smart, but it's all he's doing. He needs to not stay on his knees. Again, in wrestling, MMA, whose ever head is higher is winning. Around and around they go.
Wow, that scramble. Get some Dramamine, people.
Beautiful stuff by Eduardo Dantas. Welcome to where you don't want to be.
Amen.
3 minutes left in the round.
Body triangle chail on the good side.
You know, Goldie, I could tell our audience technically how you're supposed to get out of a body triangle, but it doesn't work. You're stuck.
You're just lying to him. The one disadvantage of the body triangle, it makes it a little bit high when going for a rear naked choke. Hard to stretch your opponent out.
Eduardo trying to lock in that body triangle again.
But going rear naked. Got a neck crank. Now, that was beautiful. What that was is a crank just to get Caldwell's hands up, and then he locks the body triangle in. One hook in, distract him. He knew he wasn't going to get a tap with that, but it brings the hands up, then he gets the body triangle.
Connecting the dots towards a potential finish.
Playing chess, not checkers.
Dantas is just being vicious here, but all he's really looking to do, Jimmy, to your point, is stay on top, and that's where the sweat comes in. That wasn't even a technique as much as it was Caldwell just moving. Had his arm on the right side, trapping Dantas, and just used that sweat, body on body, and rotated on top.
Closed guard now for the champion. Caldwell trying to land these elbows.
It looks like he cut him with one of them. It's a fresh cut over the left eye.
Yep. Razor sharp elbows from the Wolf.
Yeah, wasn't a big shot. Corner complaining about the fence grabs from the champ, Eduardo Dantas.
Caldwell needs to just stick with that when he can.
Going Kimura, trying to isolate the right arm of Darrion Caldwell.
Yeah, Caldwell's going to need to rotate his weight or step over the leg. Right now he should be safe. But if he can go back to those elbows, they add up fast.
Good pressure from Caldwell as he gets out of a bad situation here in round number 4. Right in front of his corner, Dominic Cruz, you can see him in the background.
Right now, I think this round is up for grabs with 1 minute left. They both had their advantages. Dantas took the back, then Caldwell on top and cut him with an elbow. Whoever, I think, finishes strong in this last minute wins the round on my scorecard.
Caldwell needs to get off those knees.
Just no quit so far in Darrion Caldwell.
This position, gentlemen, to remind you of the first round, of the second round, of the third round, this position has been the biggest position of the entire fight.
Going hard for the Kimura. Really cranking on it, but Caldwell using the fence to stay tight. That's what's preventing him from engaging his hips and rolling with this position.
And one of those little things, Chael, what a benefit when you're in this type of battle to have your cornerman right there.
Caldwell's listening too. He's either even responded to Coach Del Fierro, or he's talking trash to Dantas. I'm not sure which it is, but he has talked a little bit.
Could be both. Could be both.
I was going to say combination of both. Final seconds of the 4th. Couple of great scrambles, Chael.
Yeah, round and around they go.
Yeah.
Caldwell wasn't great about gaining elevation. When he got on top here, though, he started dropping these Tito Ortiz-style elbows. Just one after the next. Not looking, not planning, just bending that arm and dropping them on your opponent's head.
Jimmy, that's the one that cut him.
Yep.
Boom. Yep, right there.
Right over the top.
Yep.
And I see a desperation round in round 5 for Eduardo Dantas as he wants to walk away with the title.
5 minutes remain in our main event. The champion in red, the challenger in blue. Dantas looking for the second title defense of his second world title. He's got some catching up to do, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think Dantas needs a finish. I've given Caldwell every round. 3rd very close, 4 was close. I thought Caldwell just finished a little bit stronger, controlled more of the round. If you're Dantas, you want a finish. You want domination in this 5th round.
And he knows it.
Yep.
Ten and 1 as a pro, 7 and 1 in Bellator. So most of his professional career has been under some pretty big lights.
Guys, what has to be very frustrating for Dantas is largely his plan has worked tonight. Keep the distance. Don't get taken down. Stay up against the fence. Don't stay in the center of the mat. However, he isn't able to find his own attacks. He's almost got a little bit too much distance, Jimmy.
Yep.
Yes, he's done a great job at defending the takedown. Sure he has. but he isn't landing those kicks, those strikes. He isn't touching his opponent.
Exactly.
And scoring the points he needs to.
The close rounds, the reason oh, good knee.
I heard that.
Yeah, we all heard it.
That was a crack from the flying knee of Darrion Caldwell.
Caldwell's been able to kill a lot of time with the waist cinch, a lot of pressure against the fence. Not always clean with the takedown, not always getting it, but always putting pressure on Eduardo Dantas. See, situations like that, he lost his footing for a second up against the fence. He cannot let Darrion Caldwell off the hook, and he did.
Big left hand slip through for Caldwell.
Clock becoming very unkind to the champion.
Dantas really not fighting with that sense of urgency in this 5th round. He's walking forward, but hasn't really thrown anything.
2009 National Wrestling Champion at NC State, trying to become the Bellator World Champion here in 2017.
It's almost like he's waiting for Darrion Caldwell to initiate so he can counter, but Caldwell's ahead. He has no motivation, in my opinion, to initiate. He's content to wait.
I'm not seeing a fading Caldwell here. I did think he was letting off the gas a little in the 3rd round. I got no problem with the 4th, and possibly he looks his best right here in the 5th.
And Dantas isn't forcing him to do much, too. No, he's not testing that gas tank. Dantas, I think, has 2 minutes to really get something done here.
Great wrestling lineage. One accidental poke in the eye, I believe.
The referee didn't see it. Didn't happen.
That's exactly right.
Boom! Spinning back fist.
Caldwell needs to keep that ankle and pull him off the fence. Got to pull him off the fence here.
Dantas has to roll for something crazy. Took his back in round 3. That was his best moment of this fight.
And look what position we end up in.
Yep. Could be Suplex City again. Although they're pretty sweaty. Under 90 seconds on the clock. 5th and final round.
Caldwell didn't have to do that. He sat to this position. He did not have to do that. He missed the trip.
Dantas is hooking the leg, might be thinking leg lock.
Caldwell needs one more big scramble in him, and it's going to be coming out of this position. He's going to wait until Dantas moves. He doesn't have to move till Dantas does, but once he goes, Caldwell has got to match it.
And look for Dantas to spin for a leg, to spin for something, try to take the back. Doesn't get it.
Under a minute. Head kick by the champ, whose belt is in jeopardy big time right now. I guess he wasn't lying, Jimmy, when Darrion Caldwell said the timing is perfect.
Yep. Fought a great fight. Fought a smart fight.
And a consistent pace.
Yes.
15 seconds.
Champ has to go crazy. Has to get this rear naked. I don't think he has time. Nope. Not enough time to turn it around.
They go the distance.
Dantas put a light punch in after the bell there.
Darrion Caldwell. Spectacular performance. Take a look at our Blackheart Premium Spiced Rum Replay. The bold 93 proof rum that's edgy to the core.
I'll let the wrestler take the wrestling of Darrion Caldwell. That was the story of the fight.
Yeah, listen, he was getting his hands locked there. Then he was hitting him with surprises like this. This was on a scramble. He was starting to surprise it, keeping him guessing there. Another trip, came to the side, kept those hands locked, found a way, not largely because of the sweat, but he got on top. He started dropping those Ortiz-style elbows on him. And then this kick, you know, don't forget about this. Caldwell started surprising us with that rear kick. He usually went high in the fight. He did drop a couple in the body. We saw that one go to the leg. Look, I can tell the fans if the camera isn't picking up on this. I'm live in the arena. I'm looking at the corners right now. Darrion Caldwell believes he won the fight. Dantas does not.
The official decision is in. Here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Michael Bell, scores the fight 48-47. Judge David Sutherland also sees the fight 48-47. Your third and final judge, Todd Anderson, scores the fight 50-45. All have it for the winner by unanimous decision. And now the new Bellator Bantamweight World Champion, Darrion Caldwell.
He is the new champion.
I'm with the winner and new Bantamweight World Champion, Darrion Caldwell. You said this fight came at the perfect time. You've never been more ready, never been more prepared. How's it feel to have that payoff, man?
Oh, man, I dealt with a lot of adversity leading up to this fight. Getting served papers, fucking everything, bro. Seems like nothing can go my way, but tonight was my night. You know, I want to give a really big shout out to my team out on the Alliance in San Diego. Eric Del Fiero, Dominic Cruz, Coach Nick. They've been putting in a lot of hard work. You see my boy Chance early on the prelims, get it done. We're the best team in the world, baby. Let's fucking go!
To answer all the questions, could he go 5 rounds? Could he hang with the striking of Eduardo Dantas? Could he be the best bantamweight in Bellator? How does it feel to hear a yes to all that?
Oh, it feels like a dream come true, baby. The Wolf is here. This is my bout, and I'm keeping it for a long, long time, baby.
You heard it. Let's give it up for the new champion, Darrion the Wolf Caldwell.